Chapter 5891. The Supreme Being was furious. Who was he? He used to be a great emperor, and now he was a supreme being. He was far more powerful than the Nine-Crowned King. Now, a little ant was being so rude to him. He couldn't tolerate it. In the next instant, he attacked. The desolation on his body swept out. Everywhere it passed, everything withered rapidly. The trees in the forest were all turned into nothingness. This was an extremely terrifying power. The Nine-Crowned King would be turned into a pile of bones in an instant under this power. Lin Xian took in a deep breath when he sensed the power. He had to admit that the Supreme Being was indeed powerful. He far surpassed the Nine-Crowned King. He waved his fist and charged forward. The terrifying flames collided with the desolation power and were extinguished. Kid, it's useless. No matter how strong you are, you're just the Nine-Crowned King. Your strength can't compare to mine. Seeing this, the Supreme Being laughed coldly. Next, I'll make you kneel in front of me. After saying that, he waved his hand, and the desolation palm slapped over. The desolation aura on it became even more terrifying. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The divine flame on his body flickered, and the divine flame seed on his forehead erupted with power. The power of the Nine-Yang divine body was unleashed. His Nine-Yang divine body was much stronger than before. Although it hadn't reached greater mastery, it was very close. In this battle, he was going to break through his limits. Therefore, he didn't back down in the slightest when facing the Supreme Being. Instead, he took the initiative to attack. Boom, boom, boom. His fist landed on the aura of desolation, and a deafening sound rang out. The flames were extinguished. However, new flames surged over. For a moment, there was a stalemate in the air. What a terrifying power. This guy's physique was too terrifying. Seeing this, the Supreme Being's expression changed. 9 suns splitting heavens. At this moment, Lin Xian's fist exploded again. It was as if he had turned into a sun war god. Terrifying fist shadows filled the vast sky. Boom, boom, boom. The fist hit the desolation palm and even shook. Countless desolation auras were turned into ashes. When the surrounding people saw this, their scalps went numb. How was this possible? The experts of the desolate forest had all gone mad. He was actually able to contend against a supreme being. Wasn't this too inconceivable? Could it be that this brat's strength had already surpassed the Nine-Crowned King's?
Damn it.
Jizun struck out his palm again. The battle between the two shook the heavens and the earth. The surrounding Nine-Crowned Kings all retreated into the distance. Wherever the two of them passed, endless cracks would appear. It was as if two gods of war were fighting. Countless divine flames danced between heaven and earth, turning into the illusion of the sun. It covered the entire sky. It was as if the entire world had turned into a world of flames that wanted to melt everything. You want to suppress me with just you? He was overestimating himself. Jizun snorted coldly. A desolate aura spread out from his body. The aura was strong enough to cause any world to wither. The law of desolation caused the flames in the sky to continue, and the illusions of the sun disappeared one after another. Meanwhile, that desolate aura quickly rushed towards Lin Xian. The illusions of the sun continued to revolve around Lin Xian's body, carrying with them the power to destroy everything, blocking the attack. Lin Xian was shocked. So strong. He snorted coldly and finally used his sword energy. The terrifying sword energy erupted and shot into the sky. It slashed on the law of desolation, and a shocking sound erupted. Was it blocked again? The surrounding Nine-Crowned Kings all went mad. They, the Supreme Beings, still couldn't kill the other party. It was too unbelievable. In addition to his physique, did he also use a powerful sword technique? Jizun snorted coldly. Let me show you the sword of desolation. These are all swords of death, enough to take your life. Jizun sneered and formed a seal with his palm. Lion flicking continuously. 10 swords of desolation flew out. Below the great emperor, all are dust. Shatter everything. The 10 swords of desolation carried such a powerful force that it was enough to turn any expert into dust. The surrounding 9 crowned kings all prostrated themselves on the ground. Jizun was invincible. They shouted respectfully. Lin Xian also frowned tightly. He had to admit that Jizun was indeed too strong, exceeding his expectations. He originally thought that these people's strength would be greatly reduced without the divine fire and immortal qi. But now it seemed that even so, they were far stronger than everything. This guy was definitely not weaker than the half-frog from before. In fact, he was even stronger. Lin Xian felt a huge pressure. He snorted coldly, took out the immortal slaying sword, and slashed out. Clanging sounds rang out. The immortal slaying sword collided with the sword of desolation. The collision of the sword of desolation exploded with endless light, as dazzling as fireworks. However, they knew that this was extremely dangerous. After blocking 3 Sword of Desolation, the other 7 Sword of Desolation attacked Lin Xian from other directions. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Qianquan sword technique. All things are swords. He actually turned into a sun god's sword and slashed through the air. You want to use your body as a sword to fight against my desolation law? You really don't know what death is. The people of the desolate spirit in the distance saw this scene and laughed. Ha! This kid is dead for sure. That's for sure. His body will be turned into bones in an instant. What divine body! In front of us, Jizun, it's all trash. Lin Xian used the Qianquan sword technique. Using his body as a sword, he exploded with the most brilliant light. It collided with the desolation, sword of desolation. A terrifying explosion rang out. Heaven and earth shattered, and countless cracks spread out. Lin Xian retreated. However, the 7 desolation sword of desolation shattered into pieces. Was it shattered? The yellow spirit expert's expression changed drastically when he saw this scene. Wasn't this kid's physique too strong? Even Jizun furrowed his brows tightly. He was actually able to block it. It must be said that he had some strength. It seems that your physique is very close to great success. However, I won't let you take that step. Today, I will make the 9 yang divine body disappear. Desolation, Nirvana moon. The Jizun formed a seal with his palm. The Nirvana desolation law condensed, forming a crescent moon. It appeared in the sky. The entire world darkened in an instant. This was the Jizun's method. One move was enough to reverse the universe and change heaven and earth. Kid, this move of mine can only be blocked by the Jizun and other great emperors. You can't block it at all. To be able to die under this move, you should be proud. The moon in the sky slowly lowered, as if it had turned into the eyes of the god of death. Wherever she looked, all life was being destroyed. The Nirvana moon had destroyed thousands of worlds. This time, all the power was used to fight against Lin Xian. The power could be imagined. Lin Xian took a deep breath and raised his fists high. Erupt, 9 yang divine body. His physique suddenly changed, as if it had turned into a sun god. The divine fire swept through the 9 heavens, and the temperature between heaven and earth instantly swept. The desolate spirit experts who were watching the battle from afar trembled. Their faces were covered in sweat. It was too terrifying. It was as if their bodies were about to melt. Damn it, retreat, retreat quickly. They retreated frantically. Chapter 5892. The divine fire on Lin Xian's body kept jumping, emitting a terrifying light that pierced through heaven and earth. He formed a seal with his palms and shouted coldly, "Endless light." Once the 9 yang divine body reached the phenomenal level, he would be able to have more supernatural powers. At this moment, Lin Xian was very close to reaching the phenomenal level. Therefore, there were several supernatural powers that he could barely use. Of course, part of the reason was that he had been to the Sun God Valley and eaten the Sun God fruit. The endless light illuminated heaven and earth. The original darkness disappeared and was replaced by day. Lin Xian seemed to have turned into a sun, spinning nonstop. He said in a deep voice, "How can the light of the bright moon compete with the sun?" The quiet moon in the sky was suppressed and dimmed. How could it be like this? The people in the surrounding barren hills were all crazy. Could Lin Wudi really compete with their Jizun? It was too incredible. It was like a dream. Jizun's face also darkened. What a nine-yang divine body. It seems that you are really close to reaching the phenomenal level. You're even capable of unleashing boundless light. You're much stronger than I imagined. No wonder so many people wanted to kill you, but they failed. However, you are too conceited. You want to have a life and death battle to break through the limit and reach the phenomenal level. But you shouldn't have come to me. My identity is not something you can imagine. My trump card is also not something you can understand. So this time, you will lose without a doubt. Because I am completely superior to you. I once stood at the peak Lin Xian. Woody, submit to me. Since it was not easy for you to cultivate to this point, I can even help you reach the phenomenal level as long as you submit to me and become my battle servant. Humph. Lin Xian sneered. Once stood at the peak, that was just in the past. Right now, you're just an ant under the great emperor realm. You have no divine fire or immortal qi. What are you proud of? Jizun was murderous. His face was cold. It seems that I have really underestimated you. You should know Jizun's identity and background. Since you know, then you should know that I was once a great emperor. I'm not someone you can provoke. Even if I don't have the divine flame or immortal qi now, I'm still not someone you can resist. The Supreme Being took a step forward, and the 9 heavens and 10 earths shattered. A terrifying aura of desolation swept out in all directions. The entire high heavens was in turmoil. He waved his hand, and the silent moon in the sky fell into his hand. Like a crescent moon blade, it slashed out. Whoosh, heaven and earth were split apart. This power was too intimidating. It was even more intimidating than before. It seemed like it could tear the god body into halves. However, Lin Xian still did not dodge. He stood there, his eyes incomparably bright. This brat still wants to fight head-on? He's too stupid. I think he really doesn't know how to write the word death. This time, he definitely wouldn't be able to withstand it. The 9 crowned kings in the distance laughed coldly. When the moonlight slashed down and was about to reach him, Lin Xian finally moved. The endless light turned into a mirror of yang. He opened and closed his palms. Endless light gathered at the center of his palms, as if condensing into a mirror. That mirror was incomparably mysterious. It could shine with boundless radiance. Boom. With a boom, a ball of light erupted from the mirror, colliding with the moonlight. The sun and the moon competed. Then, with a crack appeared on the moon. Not good. The Supreme Being's expression changed. What was going on? What was that? Mirror of Yang. Wasn't that something that could only be used by a greater success divine body? He hadn't reached greater success yet, but he could already use it? Just as he was in a daze, Lin Xian moved. Sword light flickered under his feet. The immortal slaying sword turned into a spiritual light. The power of the great dragon's sword spirit erupted. Heaven-defying sword, immortal slaying. This time, Lin Xian didn't hold back at all. An invincible power erupted, piercing through the moonlight. Pooh! Blood erupted. With a muffled groan, the Supreme Being's blood dripped from the sky. This blood carried a terrifying aura, crushing the void and crushing mountains and rivers. Heaven and earth phenomena erupted. Everyone went crazy. The desolate spirit people couldn't believe what they saw. The Supreme Being was injured. Ah! The Supreme Being let out a roar. His arm was pierced, and white bones appeared. This pain made him crazy. He was actually bitten by an ant. Damn it, I don't believe it. His eyes were red and filled with murderous intent as he stared straight ahead. His great dragon sword soul could also be used to such an extent? Damn it, too damn it. He seemed to have gone crazy. Are you injured? Lin Xian smiled. I've said it before. It's impossible for you to kill me. I did treat you as an opponent and wanted to break through the limit. But now it seems that the pressure you gave me is just that. You're too weak. It seems that I have to find a real great emperor. There was disdain in his words. Ha 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 ha, boy, you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. The Supreme Being laughed in anger. He directly broke his entire arm and threw it into the void. Then the endless nomological laws grew another one. He said coldly, I admit that you have a lot of trump cards and your strength is very strong. You are very close to the Great Emperor realm. However, you seem to be close, but in fact, you can't reach the Great Emperor realm in millions of years. Although I don't have immortal chi, it's not that I can't use some of my supernatural powers. It's just that I have to pay a little price. Originally, I was going to use these methods when fighting against a real Great Emperor. Now, I'm going to use them in advance. I'll let you know my true strength. The Supreme Being roared, and a burst of aura suddenly erupted from his body. Between heaven and earth, there were countless angry roars. The faces of the people in the barren tomb also changed. Could it be that the Supreme Being wanted to use that method? It was a little early. Could it be that Lin Wuti was already so terrifying? Damn it. Although it was a little early, once the Supreme Being used it, the boy would definitely die. Endless runes appeared on the Supreme Being's body, covering heaven and earth. With him as the center, they swept in all directions. At this moment, the runes formed a set of array formation and were slowly disappearing. When Lin Xian saw this scene, he also frowned. He sealed his own power. Was this the power of the Supreme Being? Dalong said, Boy, be careful. He's going to unlock part of his power. The Supreme Being had scattered the immortal chi and divine fire. This way, he wouldn't need to sleep and could live for a long time. However, some Supreme Beings still had a backup plan. At the moment of becoming an immortal, they had a chance to recover their peak power. However, there was a price. This kind of recovery was irreversible. Once recovered, they could only live for another 1,000 years. If they couldn't become an immortal within 1,000 years, their souls would be destroyed, and they would never be resurrected. There was such a thing. Lin Xian took a deep breath. It seemed that the Supreme Being in front of him was about to unlock the seal. Sure enough, he felt a vast power recovering from the other's body. Chapter 5893. Dalong said, he probably doesn't dare to unlock the seal completely. He can only unlock a little. Therefore, it's not impossible. After Lin Xian heard this, he took a deep breath and nodded. Next, the real battle will begin. Between heaven and earth, there was a roar, and countless visions of heaven and earth filled the air. The array formation between the opponents' eyebrows slowly unlocked. The array pattern disappeared, and a powerful force spread out. Have you recovered a little? Jizun clenched his fist, and a cold light burst out from his eyes. I can feel the powerful force. With one punch, heaven and earth are shattered. The power is much stronger than before. Well, that's it. Jizun's gaze fell on Lin Xian. He asked, now that you can feel my power, do you still dare to be arrogant in front of me? Boom. An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. It connected into a piece, and heaven and earth were cracking. Lin Wuti, this is called the light of nirvana. Under this light, turn into ashes. As soon as that ray of light appeared, its powerful energy caused the entire world to churn like a vast ocean, drowning everything in its path. So powerful. The people in the distance were terrified. They couldn't stop trembling. This power was very close to that of a great emperor. Lin Xian took a deep breath as he looked at the light of nirvana. He could indeed feel the immense pressure from it. But so what? Wasn't this pressure what he was looking for? His nine-yang divine body shook slightly, not because of fear, but because of excitement. Only by breaking through the limits of life and death could Lin Xian achieve the great success of his divine body. Now was the opportunity. Endless light. He roared, and the terrifying light flew out and collided with the light of nirvana. The two exploded, and an unparalleled power swept out. Lin Xian coughed up mouthfuls of blood. See, Lin Wuti, you're no match for me at all. Hee again. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He stomped his foot and charged out with boundless light. His body opened and closed, sweeping in all directions. With a shake of his fist, the void shattered. He formed a seal with his palm, forming a yang mirror. The light on the mirror broke the sky. However, this time, Her self-esteem was even stronger. Her eyes turned into two moons and fell down. After shattering the Yang mirror, Lin Xian was once again sent flying, his body drenched in blood. Lin Wuti was injured. Great, Lin Wuti was finally injured. When the people of Huangling saw this scene, they all laughed out loud. I've already said that he is simply no match for our utmost exalted. That was for sure. Once a supreme being appeared, they would be invincible under the heavens. Who would be able to compete with them? Perhaps only a true sovereign realm expert would be able to contend against them. These people all laughed complacently.
Kid.
Dalong was also worried. He said, with my power, the power of this great dragon sword can erupt and contend against it. However, Lin Xian shook his head. No, I want to use my body's strength. I want to break through my body. Lin Xian didn't use the power of the great dragon sword. Instead, he rushed forward once more. Sun symbols appeared on his body to mend his wounds. At the same time, he waved his hand. This time, he condensed the Yang mirror again and kept attacking. However, he still fell back. In the following time, Lin Xian fell back 5 times. More and more cracks appeared on his body. His body swayed as if he would fall down at any time. Stupid thing. Supreme Being looked down from above and said coldly, do you see? This is the gap between us, a huge gap. Don't even think about competing with me in this lifetime. Another palm shot out and slapped the 9 Yang divine body. Cracks appeared on Lin Xian's body. His arm was broken, and he fell into the void. He stood up and laughed. The people watching the battle from afar were horrified. Is this kid crazy? The people of Huangling sneered. This should be his last struggle before he dies, right? However, Lin Xian was smiling. Even though he was injured, he was able to sense that there seemed to be a mysterious power emerging from the 9 suns' divine body. He had swallowed 2 divine sun fruits before. At this moment, the effect had completely spread throughout his body. This was a long-lost feeling. Lin Xian had felt it before he broke through. This meant that Lin Xian was about to break through. Was he finally about to enter the realm of great success? But it was not enough. Lin Xian knew that the pressure was not enough. He had not reached his limit yet. He stood up and sneered. What supreme being? You're just a reptile, struggling at death's door and living until now. You don't dare to face your true self. You are not even a great emperor and you want to become an immortal?
Dream on.
You are courting death. Supreme Being was completely angry. He threw out both palms and slapped Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian's body was pierced through. He tried his best to defend himself, but the boundless radiance around him was scattered. And I will catch you and let you know what it means to live a life worse than death. Supreme Being strode forward. He was really angry. He would not allow others to challenge him.
Boom. Boom.
He attacked aggressively. Lin Xian raised his fist and fought back. Their fists collided, erupting with endless light. Lin Xian's palm made the sound of bones breaking. But he still gritted his teeth and continued to attack. It's useless. You can't break my defense. My strength has recovered. Only a great emperor can defeat me. He kicked out, and Lin Xian flew backward.
Kid.
Dalong also sighed. This was indeed a trial. All the bones in Lin Xian's body were broken, but he did not help. Because he could feel that a new kind of power was recovering in Lin Xian's body. It was spreading and enveloping his body. Lin Xian's bones had regrown, and the muscles on his body had changed as well. Lin Xian was making great strides toward attaining a greater success divine body. Lin Xian stood up. The corners of his mouth curled up. This kind of power was the power of a breakthrough, but it was not enough. Haha, what prime? Is this all you have? You can't kill me. Lin Xian rushed over. He wanted more threats. He was courting death. Prime was also angry. Originally, he wanted to hold back and torture his opponent. Now, he was ready to turn his opponent into ashes. On his right palm, a seal was undone. Endless power erupted, and he slammed his palm over. This power was even more terrifying than before. Everyone gasped. This was like the palm of an immortal. It was terrifying to the extreme. Lin Xian also roared. He raised his fist to block. With a boom, it was as if he was struck by lightning. His soul shook violently. In the next moment, he was enveloped by the terrifying palm. That place was completely turned into nothingness. A black hole appeared between heaven and earth. When the people in the barren hill saw this scene, they exclaimed, "He was hit. Haha, then he would definitely die." Flynn Woody finally fell. From now on, there would be no such person in the world. He was too reckless. Did he think that he could be arrogant just because he was a genius? Dead geniuses were nothing. Countless people sneered. The corners of Prime Master Baron Hill's mouth also raised. A smile.
Done.
Although this time he had unlocked some seals. However, he had finally dealt with a potential enemy. Since the other party was dead, then the treasures on the other party's body were his. Later, he would break through the void and take the great dragon's sword soul. Chapter 5894. Lin Xian had a lot of treasures on him, especially the great dragon sword soul, which made this person very jealous. After all, it was once a great emperor. It had an extreme weapon and its own great emperor's ancient scripture. Therefore, he didn't need any of these. What he wanted was the offensive saint technique between heaven and earth. Legend had it that the great dragon sword had an extraordinary origin. In fact, the 5 swords in the world were all so mysterious. Even great emperors were envious. This time, if he could get the great dragon sword soul, then who in the world would be his opponent? He could definitely use this to break through and become a real immortal. Thinking of this, he waved his hand and tore open the void to look for the great dragon's sword soul. However, at this moment in the void, a figure walked out from the crack. It was a man dripping with blood. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were piercingly cold, like a divine knife. His face was even more chiseled. His figure was tall and straight, and he stepped on the void. "It's you? You're still alive." Jizun seemed to have seen a ghost. This is impossible. The other party was hit by his palm. How could he still be alive?
Below.
The powerhouses of the desolate spirit were also stunned. No way? How did he dodge? Was he immortal? Damn it, this guy is too heaven-defying, right?
He didn't die.
No. Why do I feel that the aura on his body has become stronger? Illusion, you must be hallucinating. Countless exclamations were heard. Jizun also frowned. You should have used an extreme weapon, right? Legend had it that Lin Wuti had an extreme weapon by his side. Perhaps it was with the power of the extreme weapon that he dodged the attack. He shook his head slightly. It's useless. Although the extreme weapon is good, you can't use all of its power. Now you're seriously injured. I'll grab the extreme weapon later. I'll be able to kill you with one palm. An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. He raised his palm, and on his palm, the law continued to spread. There were phantoms of immortal chi on it. This was the effect after the seal was unlocked. Lin Xian smiled. Jizun, I have to thank you. Without you, I wouldn't have been able to break through. What did you say? Jizun's palm stopped in midair.
He frowned.
Breakthrough? You said you broke through? Impossible. Have you made a breakthrough and become a greater success, divine body? I still don't believe it. How can it be so easy to break through? It's not up to you whether you believe me or not. Lin Xian's eyes blossomed with a confident light. That strike just now, he had indeed felt that his life was in danger. In this moment of crisis, he didn't dodge. Instead, he took out his 3rd sun god fruit. He swallowed it to protect his heart meridians. Then he endured the attack. The power of the 3rd divine sun fruit exploded. Lin Xian had been on the brink of death, but he had broken through his limits and obtained a great success, divine body. At this moment, his strength had undergone an earth-shattering change. Therefore, he still wasn't afraid when facing a spiritual sovereign. It was said that the body of a greater mastery cultivator was comparable to that of a god monarch. Was it true that he dared to challenge a god monarch? He waved his hand and said, Take out your power and attack me. Damn it, what do you take me for? Die for me. The spiritual sovereign roared crazily as his palm came crashing down. A rumbling sound rang out with monstrous killing intent. This time, he would definitely be able to kill the other party. Lin Xian clenched his fist and punched out. His fist was resplendent like the fist of a war god. When it collided with the other party's palm, an earth-shaking sound rang out, and the power swept out in all directions. Everyone's eyes widened. Impossible? He actually blocked it again. How is this possible? This power, your physique. The spiritual sovereign's pupils constricted. He felt a super strong power from the other party's body. Could it be that the other party had really broken through? Impossible? He didn't believe it. He roared crazily and was about to attack. However, Lin Xian's fist turned into a palm and grabbed the other party's wrist. Then, he sent out a kick and landed on his opponent's other arm. Boom. The spiritual sovereign was sent flying by the kick. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his arm was trembling nonstop. How was this possible? He was actually injured by the opponent's fist. He was stunned, and so was everyone else. The world was terrifyingly quiet. Lin Xian withdrew his fist, and a smile appeared on his face. The rumors were true. A great success divine body was comparable to a great emperor. I just broke through and my realm is not stable, but I can already compete with a supreme. Once it is completely stable, my strength will be even more terrifying. Lin Xian was too happy. He had finally reached this step. The current me should be equivalent to the 10-crown king. Damn it, what 10-crown king? It's impossible. I will kill you. The spiritual sovereign on the other side roared crazily, Silent Blade. An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. The surrounding desolate aura formed a storm that blotted out the sky and covered the earth. However, Lin Xian stomped his foot, and boundless flames swept out. The storm that filled the sky disappeared. Peace was restored between heaven and earth. The spiritual sovereign was stunned. His attack was interrupted. How is this possible? Lin Xian said, 3,000 divine flames engulfed the heavens. With Lin Xian as the center, boundless divine flames jumped and quickly spread. No, how is this possible? This power? Hurry up and run. Below, the 9 crown kings of the desolate tomb went crazy. Those who were slow to escape were instantly turned into ashes. The others were terrified. What kind of power was this? He was no longer weaker than their prime exalted.
Boom.
Lin Xian rushed over and used the 9-yang divine fist. His fist technique was shocking as he fought with the supreme. The spiritual sovereign was so depressed that he vomited blood. Even though Lin Xian had been able to contend with him before, he was still able to do so. However, he was suppressed every time and was beaten until his entire body was covered in blood. But now, the situation seemed to have changed. Lin Xian's fist was filled with power, causing his body to tremble. It was really a great success divine body, a great success 9-yang divine body. How many tens of thousands of years had this kind of physique appeared again? Fear appeared in the spiritual sovereign's eyes.
Boom. Boom.
Endless light formed a mirror, the Yang mirror. It sent the spiritual sovereign flying. The spiritual sovereign was like a kite with a broken string as he vomited blood in the air. He felt that his bones were broken. Damn it, it was too despicable. Did he actually lose? And he was even injured. Damn it, if he lost to the great emperor, he would accept it. After all, he wasn't the great emperor now. However, he couldn't tolerate being injured by a young man. He roared towards the sky, as if he was crazy. Lin Xian was incomparably calm. You don't have to be angry. Being defeated by me isn't a shameful thing. Because I'm already the 10-crown king. You should be proud to be defeated by the 10-crown king. What 10-crown king? I don't believe it. The spiritual sovereign rushed over again. He kept attacking, but not long after, he was sent flying again and vomited blood again. He was crazy. Could he really not block the other party's attack? Was he suppressed by the other party? Damn it, I want to undo the seal. On his body, The seal rings rotated rapidly and were about to be undone. A monstrous force swept out. It seemed that the spiritual sovereign wanted to recover his peak strength. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Nine-Yang God.
He attacked.
His entire person seemed to have turned into the sun god. He punched out and directly interrupted the other party's movements. He sent the other party flying. Chapter 58-95. Ji Zun spat out blood again and was sent flying. This time, he felt that all the bones in his body had been broken. Damn it, how was this possible? The other party had actually injured him. The experts in the barren tomb were also in despair. They really couldn't believe that their Ji Zun would actually be defeated. His strength was too heaven-defying. Under such circumstances, he was actually able to break through to the greater mastery body. In the future, who could suppress him? Those 9 crowned kings' faces were filled with fear. Legend had it that the greater mastery divine body was comparable to a great emperor. Now it seemed that the rumors were true. What a powerful strength! Lin Xian was also incomparably happy. Just now, he had used the God of 9 Suns. It was a new divine ability in the divine body. It was extremely powerful. One strike had actually broken the other party's bones. Again, Lin Xian clenched his fists and strode over. As he walked, flames spread under his feet, and his figure was also constantly growing taller. He seemed to have turned into a god of fire, indomitable, with endless power. Damn it, kid. Just you wait, I won't let you go. Ling Jizun roared and turned to flee. He had no choice. Now that he was injured, and his confidence had also been damaged, he was not in his best state at all. Now, even if he broke the seal, the gains would not make up for the losses. There was only one chance to break the seal. He could not break it again, so he prepared to leave first and temporarily avoid the brunt of the attack. Escaped? Our Jizun had actually escaped. Those people in the barren tomb were in despair. Jizun, please take us away. Yes, Jizun, please protect us. They shouted crazily. However, it was useless. Ling Jizun fled very quickly.
Boom.
Lin Xian struck out again, causing Jizun to vomit blood. However, Jizun fled with all his might. His speed was really fast. Lin Xian chased for a while and returned. There was no choice. The Heaven's Land was very mysterious. He didn't know if there was any danger. Therefore, he didn't chase. In any case, he already had a greater mastery divine body now, and his strength had greatly increased. If he met the other party in the future, he would kill him. After all, the other party was not his match at all. That Lin Wudi is back. Run. When the 9 crowned kings saw this, they quickly fled. Lin Xian sneered. The 9 suns descended. The 9 suns descended and sealed off the area. These people were all beaten back. Lin Wudi, please spare our lives. We won't do it again. We are willing to submit. We will tell you everything we know. In order to survive, these experts immediately knelt on the ground. There was nothing they could do about it. After all, this person was even more terrifying than their utmost exalted. How would they dare to resist? Very good. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. He didn't kill these people. He was prepared to take them in as his subordinates. As the vanguard, they were sent to scout the upper heavens. These people had been here before and had searched some places. Furthermore, they had told Lin Xian about these places. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. It seemed like the high heavens was more mysterious than he had imagined. These people had only explored a little bit and were already astonished. More importantly, he didn't know how many great emperors and experts had gathered here. These powerhouses of the Alliance were all very ancient powerhouses and belonged to different forces. There were the realm of the gods and the other world. In addition, there were some rogue cultivators. There were also other utmost exalted from the forbidden land of life. How was the battle? How was the realm of the gods? This was what Lin Xian was most worried about. He didn't know if his father and Lord Alcohol were in danger. The experts in the barren hill said, I heard that the realm of the gods has successfully taken down a city. The other world wants to take the city, but it hasn't succeeded yet. However, it is said that they have already started fighting. The battle between the great emperors is earth-shattering. I know. Lin Xian nodded. With a wave of his hand, countless sun flames flew into their foreheads. He said, "If you betray me, you will immediately be destroyed." "We don't dare. We don't dare." The 9 crowned kings hurriedly shook their heads. Lin Xian snorted coldly, just like before. "Continue to scout for information here and report to me. Go and do it. Also, don't think about asking the Supreme to save you. He doesn't have the ability." "We know." After these 9 crowned kings saw Lin Xian's methods, they didn't dare to be presumptuous anymore. They all went to scout for information. As for Lin Xian, he took a deep breath. His face was a little pale. This time, he was happy that his body had broken through to greater success. However, his realm was still unstable. Moreover, the battle just now had injured him. After all, the other party was a supreme. He wasn't someone to be trifled with. Every move carried the power of desolation. It could take the life and power of others. He now wanted to get rid of the desolate laws in his body. Lin Xian prepared to find a place to enter seclusion and consolidate his realm. After searching around, Lin Xian flew back. He felt that the Barren Hill Supreme had found a very good place. As expected of a Supreme, he was indeed experienced. This place was safe and filled with mysterious power. It was really a good place to stay. Since that was the case, Lin Xian began to cultivate here. He sat down and formed hand seals with both hands. At the same time, he formed an array formation and began to recover. The surrounding mountain ranges clouds once again spread out, covering heaven and earth. 9 suns revolved around Lin Xian, forming a mysterious sun diagram. The flames danced. The power of the divine fire seed was becoming more and more terrifying. Gradually, the 9 suns around Lin Xian began to revolve, absorbing the surrounding power. They turned into flames to continue to improve the strength of his physique. However, a problem occurred as soon as they absorbed. Suddenly, a vibration of power came from this mountain range. It was as if something had awakened, causing Lin Xian's physique to shake and his blood to surge. What was it? Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes. He now had a greater success divine body. What kind of power was it? It could threaten him. That power just now made his hair stand on end. He stopped cultivating and stood up. Then he looked around with his Rinnegan. The power of reincarnation enveloped this land. Lin Xian began to investigate. Suddenly, he felt another vibration of power, shattering the gaze of reincarnation. At the same time, he felt that there seemed to be a pair of mysterious eyes staring at him between heaven and earth. It made his soul feel cold. There was someone in this place. Who was it? Was it the Huangling Supreme who came? Or did the other party bring helpers? No, it wasn't the power of the Supreme. Lin Xian felt that this power was too mysterious. Moreover, it seemed to come from under this land. Was it a trick set up by the Supreme? Or was it something that belonged to this heavenly land? He asked along. DeLong also said, "There's an unusual aura. It shouldn't be set up by that Supreme." After all, he had just arrived here not long ago. The heavenly land was incomparably mysterious. It was known as one of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Naturally, it was terrifying. Perhaps there was some mysterious existence under this land? After Lin Xian heard this, he also took a deep breath. Then let's take a look. He prepared to activate his Rinnegan and turn into a ray of reincarnation light. They dug into the ground and began to investigate. Clouds and mist were still rolling under the ground. All of a sudden, he felt as if a hand had reached out from behind him. It tore apart the power of reincarnation. And that attack carried an extremely terrifying killing intent. It grabbed at Lin Xian. Chapter 5896. Sensing this mysterious power, Lin Xian's pupils constricted. At this moment, DeLong said, "Kid, leave first." Lin Xian's expression changed. His body flickered, and he left instantly. As soon as he left, the power pierced through the void, forming a black hole. Cracks spread in all directions. Lin Xian's expression changed after seeing this. At the same time, he felt a familiar power, which seemed to be related to the power of the six paths. What is this? His face was full of shock. De Long said, retreating first. This place was very mysterious. Lin Xian nodded. After all, he had just broken through. And he wasn't familiar with this place. So, he prepared to leave first and come back later to investigate. This place must have some secrets.
Buzz.
His body flickered, and he wanted to leave. After he left, the mountain range also began to shake. A terrifying light pierced through the ground, creating an extremely frightening phenomenon of heaven and earth. However, it soon disappeared again, as if it had never appeared in the first place. Lin Wan left, and he went to another mountain to cultivate. At the same time, the powerful supremes in the upper heavens land, the great emperors and their subordinates, 9 crowned kings, were all on the move. They were either gathering intelligence, attacking enemies, or searching for treasures. All kinds of battles happened every day. In a valley, there were mountains and clear waters, like a heavenly realm. A man in purple stood there. It was Great Emperor Ziluo. Many powerful 9 crowned kings stood around him. This was a stronghold of the otherworld. Great Emperor Ziluo asked, "How is the situation? We haven't taken down the cities of the god domain yet, and we've been injured. As for the other cities, we're still searching." Great Emperor Ziluo nodded, and then said, "What about the other thing?" "There's a clue." 9 crowned kings said, "We went to look for the land of souls, and we found a person. This person has a very mysterious soul power, and we're trying to suppress it. When we catch him, we'll send him over." "Oh, is that so?" Great Emperor Ziluo was delighted. This time, he came to the Upper Heavens land with his own intentions. The Upper Heavens land was one of the 10 lands, and it was extremely mysterious. There must be many precious treasures here. They couldn't be found in the outside world. What he needed were soul-type treasures, because he wasn't a complete great emperor. He was missing half a soul. The great battleback then had left him unable to recover. Perhaps there was something in high heavens that could help him recover his soul. After it recovered, its strength would increase again and reach its peak state. This was something he had always dreamed of. One had to know that the last time he faced Lin Xian, he actually failed to kill him. This made him feel a sense of danger. He had to return to his peak. Now that he heard such news, how could he not be happy? There was a lake in the celestial land that contained the power of the soul. At this moment, a great battle was taking place. One of them was a soul attribute expert. It was a woman who was incomparably beautiful. She faced over a dozen 9 crowned kings, and in the end, she was suppressed by their attacks. She was unwilling, but she was still sealed. "Take them away." More than 10 9 crowned kings quickly moved out. After they left, an illusory figure appeared on a withered tree near the lake. He was from the barren tomb and was in charge of gathering information. "How frightening," said the voice. That woman was really unlucky. She looked like a top-notch genius, but she was attacked by a group of people. This time, she was captured by the Permitha people and her fate was unknown. "Forget it. I'd better investigate. Otherwise, that Lin Wudi won't let me off." He quickly left. High heavens in a valley. More than 10 experts returned and knelt on one knee, reporting to the emperor. "We've captured the person." "Is that so?" Great Emperor Ziluo turned around, his eyes shining with a shocking light. "Bring her out." More than a dozen experts formed seals with their hands. They tore open the void, and a woman appeared from within. "Let me go." The beautiful woman shouted coldly. However, it was useless. "Who are you?" "I'm Hun Qianqian, the daughter of the Soul Emperor." "Do you dare to attack me?" "The daughter of the Soul Emperor?" Great Emperor Ziluo's eyes lit up. What a pleasant surprise. No wonder I sense such a terrifying soul aura from you. "Who are you?" Feeling Great Emperor Ziluo's gaze, Han Qianqian's pupils constricted. This was the power of a great emperor. It was actually a great emperor who attacked her. Her expression was somewhat ugly. May I know how I've offended you, senior? I'll definitely apologize. Can you let me go for the sake of my father? Facing a great emperor, she didn't dare to be disrespectful. However, Great Emperor Ziluo snorted coldly. The Soul Emperor? Humph. She actually dared to refuse when I asked her to come to the Prometha realm.
He's dead.
If he's alive, I'll personally suppress him. As for you, since you're here, don't even think about leaving.
What?
You're from the Prometha realm? Han Qianqian's expression changed drastically. How could she not know about the Prometha realm? These people were supreme overlords. They were high and mighty and had even suppressed a great emperor. Not to mention, she was only the daughter of the land. I heard that the Soul Emperor's ancient scriptures have an ultimate technique called the Soul Replenishing Technique. Have you learned it? Hand it over, and I'll give you a quick death. Han Qianqian's expression changed. You want the Soul Replenishing Technique? Humph, impossible. The Soul Replenishing Technique was very mysterious. It was created by his father, but his father felt that it wasn't perfect, so he no longer used it. However, Han Qianqian had inherited the great emperor's inheritance, so he naturally knew about it. He didn't dare to cultivate this kind of thing. According to his father, this ability was only created halfway and was very dangerous. It was easy to go berserk. Unwilling? Humph. Aren't you afraid that I'll take your soul? You don't have to say it, I'll do it myself. Great Emperor Ziluo sneered. With the soul replenishing technique, his soul might be able to be repaired, so how could he miss it? An extremely cold light burst out from his eyes. Great Emperor Ziluo's soul flew out and began to envelop Han Qianqian's soul. Han Qianqian felt as if Mount Tai was pressing down on him, as if his soul was about to split open. Boom boom at this moment, a mysterious power suddenly erupted from Han Qianqian's head, forming a halo that floated above his head to resist. Its father's power. Han Qianqian was delighted. Great Emperor Ziluo also frowned. Soul Ring. You actually still have this thing. The Soul Emperor is already dead. So what if his ability is still here? We're both great emperors. Watch me break it. Great Emperor Ziluo snorted coldly. The light in his eyes became even more terrifying. However, this soul ring was extremely terrifying. Great Emperor Ziluo couldn't break it. Damn it! The Soul Emperor was a great emperor who was proficient in the soul. His soul laws were extremely terrifying. As for him, his soul was still missing half. In comparison, his soul was much weaker. Therefore, he couldn't break it. Great Emperor Ziluo's expression was cold. He wouldn't give up. If once wasn't enough, then he would try twice. Even if it was a year or two, he would break it. He wanted to obtain the heaven replenishing technique. Great Emperor Ziluo was here. Han Qianqian's face was pale, and he couldn't resist at all. He could only rely on the soul ring above his head. Chapter 5897. Han Qianqian was targeted by a great emperor and was in grave danger. Lin Xian didn't know any of this. At this moment, Lin Xian was still on the mountain, cultivating his nine-yang divine body. It was getting more and more mysterious. It was as if a sun war god had reappeared in the mortal world. The 9 suns kept spinning, and each time, it brought about a powerful flame. Lin Xian's every breath was filled with a mysterious and supreme power. He was cultivating with his eyes closed. A small storm had also set off in the upper heavens. Have you heard? Someone saw a supreme being leave injured. The blood of the supreme being dripped down, forming countless black holes.
What?
Supreme being Huangling was injured? No way. Who was the one who injured him? Could it be the great emperor of the Nirvana realm? It shouldn't be, right? The Nirvana realm and the people of the deity realm were fighting. Now, they should be fighting the deity realm with all their strength. They wouldn't attack the supreme being, right? Unless that supreme being was reckless and provoked the Nirvana realm. But I don't think he should do that. No, it doesn't seem to be the Nirvana realm. Then, who is it? Who is so powerful? Countless voices of discussion were heard. They were all guessing who did it. There were even supreme beings from other forbidden lands who began to look for Supreme Being Huangling to ask him who the enemy was. Supreme Being Huangling's face was cold, and he didn't say a word. In the end, he simply left and found a place where there was no one. He stopped and roared at the sky. Damn it, damn it, damn it. This time it was really embarrassing. He didn't expect that the news of his defeat and injury would spread out. If others were to know that he had been injured by a junior, he would be utterly humiliated. Lin Wuti, just you wait, I won't let you go. So, what if you have a great success divine body? You're not a real great emperor. Just you wait, when my seal is broken, it will be the time of your death. In the valley, Great Emperor Ziluo was still attacking, and the light of his soul ring was dimmer than before. However, it was still very mysterious. It seemed that he wouldn't be able to break it in a few days. But Great Emperor Ziluo was very patient. In the evening, a few figures arrived in the distance, and the leader was a man. His body was surrounded by extremely terrifying lightning. It was like heavenly lightning that could destroy everything. This was the Thunderclap Emperor. 9-crowned king in the valley hurriedly bowed. The Thunderclap Emperor frowned when he saw Emperor Ziluo. You've been here for the past few days, haven't you gone out? Have you forgotten what your mission is? Don't do anything to this woman. Hearing this, Great Emperor Ziluo snorted coldly. My business is none of your business. As soon as the Thunderclap Emperor attacked, a thunderbolt shot towards Hun Qian. This was a destructive force. Emperor Ziluo was startled. He waved his sleeve to block the lightning. His embroidered robe was pierced through. With a gloomy face, he said, What do you mean? How dare you destroy my hope? What hope? Don't forget, this is an order personally given by the virtual immortal. He had to kill the people from the god realm. As for you, you didn't do anything at all. Instead, you hid in this valley all day long. Could it be that you want to disobey the orders of the virtual immortal? Jinglei, don't use the virtual immortal lord to pressure me. Ziluo snorted coldly. I have my reasons for doing this. As long as my soul recovers, my strength will increase greatly. It will be easy to deal with the god realm. I'm just using my own method. If you don't understand, then don't interfere. Great Emperor Ziluo didn't have a good impression of the Thunderclap Emperor. After all, the Thunderclap Emperor was a complete great emperor. He had always been arrogant. He looked down on him and green robe. Now, he was using a commanding tone. How could he tolerate it? The Thunderclap said, Recover to your peak? Stop dreaming. You'll only be a broken great emperor in this lifetime. Listen to me obediently. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. 3 days. I'll give you 3 more days. If you don't come out after 3 days, then don't blame me for being rude. After the Thunderclap Emperor finished speaking, he waved his sleeve and disappeared with his people. He was annoyed when he saw Great Emperor Ziluo in this valley, so he left. What are you so arrogant for? When my soul is restored and I recover to my peak, I'll let you know how powerful I am. Great Emperor Ziluo said through gritted teeth. This time, he must succeed. After speaking, the laws on his body rose and became even more terrifying. Hun Qianqian, on the other hand, looked desperate. At this rate, the soul ring would be destroyed in less than 3 days. At that time, she wouldn't be able to resist. On a mountain peak, 9 suns circled around and then slowly entered Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian opened his eyes and roared at the sky. The sunlight in the sky scattered across the 9 heavens. Even in the dark night, it was extremely bright. He continuously punched in the air, shattering heaven and earth. Then he slowly retracted his power. He had stabilized his cultivation. He had a complete great success divine body. Lin Xian was extremely happy that his 9-yang divine body had reached great success. He entered the sword world and saw that Murong Qingcheng and the others had already entered the depths of the sword world. They began to look for their own opportunities. He left a message and then came out. He did not disturb them. Lin Xian formed a seal with his hands and began to summon the 9 crown kings that he had controlled previously. Not long after, the 9 crown kings returned and knelt on one knee on the ground. Greetings to Lin Gongzi. They were incomparably respectful. When some of the elders sensed Lin Xian's aura, their expressions changed drastically. This aura seemed to be stronger than before. How is the situation? What did you find out? Lin Xian asked. The 9 crown kings all told him what they had found out. Some said that the Thunderclap Emperor on the other side was fighting with an emperor from the God realm. The two fought for a few days, but it was difficult to determine a victor. Then they left. There were also people who said that Great Emperor Baiyu of the Permethar realm also attacked a city. In the end, she didn't succeed for the time being. However, they didn't see Emperor Ziluo's figure. One news after another came. Lin Xian heard it and narrowed his eyes. He asked, "Is that all?" Among them, a middle-aged man thought for a moment and then said there was another news, but it wasn't from the emperor, but from the 9 crown kings. He recounted the scene that he had seen by the lake. A dozen 9 crown kings had surrounded a young woman. That woman was a soul manipulator, but she had been suppressed and taken away. Lin Xian frowned. Soul manipulator? Do you know who those people are? The 9 crown kings said. They're from the other side. Lin Xian's face darkened when he heard that. Emperor Ziluo from the other side hadn't shown up for a long time. As far as he knew, Emperor Ziluo was missing half of his soul. Now there were soul manipulators. It seemed that Emperor Ziluo wanted to recover from his injuries. I won't let you succeed. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. Lin Xian was confident that he could fight against a crippled emperor. Therefore, he prepared to attack. Do you know where Emperor Ziluo is? Lin Xian asked. The 9 crown kings nodded. I have a rough idea. Tell me where it is. After the 9 crown kings finished speaking, Lin Xian rose into the air and quickly flew over. At the same time, he opened his Rinnegan to investigate. Before long, his lips curled up. I sense his aura. This time, I'll let him know how powerful I am. Chapter 5898. Valley? Hun Qianqian was in despair. A crack appeared on the soul ring above her head, and it dimmed. Emperor Ziluo was overjoyed.
Great.
Give me half a day, and I'll be able to shatter your soul ring. Then I'll personally collect your soul. As soon as he said that, a cracking sound rang out as a second crack appeared on the wall, causing the light to dim even more. Not long after, the third crack appeared once again. Hun Qianqian was in despair. She closed her eyes. A divine fire seed appeared between her eyebrows. She had made up her mind to self-destruct. Even if she died, she wouldn't let him get the soul-mending technique. Seeing Hun Qianqian's actions, Emperor Ziluo went crazy. If you dare to self-destruct, I won't forgive you. The Permethar realm has the path of hell. I'll capture your soul from hell and torture it so that you can never be reincarnated. Hearing this, Hun Qianqian's soul trembled in fear. Then I'll vanish into thin air, and not even my soul will be left. Hun Qianqian opened his eyes, and a look of determination appeared in his eyes.
How dare you?
How dare you? Emperor Ziluo went crazy. Hope was right in front of him. If it was destroyed, his little heart wouldn't be able to take it. He roared at the sky, and immortal qi erupted from his body. It seemed that he was going to attack with all his strength.
Boom.
Hun Qianqian's expression changed drastically. At this moment, a ray of light fell from the sky. It was as if a sun had fallen from the sky, illuminating the entire valley. A terrifying aura swept across the area. Emperor Ziluo's expression changed. Who was it? He roared, and his palm clenched into a fist and punched out.
Boom.
A shocking battle and terrifying power swept in all directions. The entire valley was torn apart, and the 9 crown kings flew into the distance in fright. They were shocked.
Who was it?
Emperor Ziluo's expression was even more serious. He tore open the void and shouted coldly, How dare you ruin my plan? Are you going against the Permethar realm? Get over here, kneel, and accept your punishment. The light between heaven and earth disappeared, and Lin Xian's figure landed. However, at this moment, Lin Xian was surrounded by golden flames, like a sun war god. Who are you? The 9 crown kings from the other side of the river also roared, attack!
Kill him.
These 9 crown kings were enraged. Since when did they allow a young man to behave so atrociously? They quickly rushed over. More than 10 figures blotted out the sky and covered the earth. In their hands, there was an extremely terrifying killing power. Boom, boom, boom. Lin Xian, on the other hand, swung his fists. Every punch turned a 9 crown king into a bloody mist. After a few punches, the dozen or so 9 crown kings turned into raindrops and fell to the ground. Were they all dead? The expressions of the people in the valley changed greatly. What kind of power was this? This was power that surpassed 9 crown king. Who is this person? Who are you? He dared to go against the Nirvana realm. After Lin Xian heard this, he laughed loudly. The flames on his body quickly changed, revealing his true face. Is Higan really that great? It's not like I haven't killed one before. You are Lin Wuti. How dare you come here? The 9 crown kings were all shocked. Some of them had seen Lin Wuti before. Hence, they cried out in surprise. Emperor Ziluo was also taken aback. Kid, you really don't know what's good for you. He was overjoyed. He had chased after Lin Xian before. However, the universe was vast, and he had no time. Hence, he had given up. He had thought that he would know when he would see Lin Wuti again. He hadn't expected Lin Wuti to come to the upper heavens himself. Moreover, Lin Wuti had appeared before him. The heavens are helping me. It seems that I am very lucky today. I can get the heaven mending technique and capture you. If I can get the dragon sword soul, that would be even better. Let's see who dares to look down on me then. His eyes shone with a terrifying light. If he had a complete soul and the dragon sword soul, he could surpass the Thunderclap Emperor and gain the attention of the Grand Supreme. He could even reach the level of a virtual immortal. Thinking of this, he trembled with excitement. It's you? Han Xianqian also cried out in surprise. She recognized Lin Xian. She said, Lin Gongzi, run. He is a great emperor. You are no match for him. Go to the Moon Palace and ask the Moon Immortal to help. Humph, no one can run. Emperor Ziluo waved his hand, and the 9 crown kings behind him swarmed over. However, Lin Xian shot out endless light. The light pierced through the sky and pierced through the 9 crown kings. Over 10 figures landed on the ground. The others retreated in horror. Is this guy a god of death? He is too strong. He can kill us instantly. This is beyond the 9 crown kings' power. They didn't dare to attack again. Lin Xian sneered. Don't let these trash deal with me. Emperor Ziluo, I am here to fight you. Today, I will trample you under my feet. Kid, you are too arrogant. I admit that you are stronger than us. However, you want to fight the great emperor? You are courting death. An elder sneered. Another 9 crown king said, Great emperor, please suppress him. Let him know the power of the other world. Don't worry, I will take care of this arrogant kid. As he spoke, he reached out and grabbed. Lin Wuti, I will not let you leave. Not good. Han Xianqian's expression changed. She knew Lin Xian was shockingly talented and had a bright future. However, he was still too young. He couldn't fight the great emperors. However, it was too late for her to say anything. That enormous purple palm covered the sky and covered the earth as it grabbed Lin Xian and enveloped him within. Haha, in my palm, you will turn into a bloody mist. Emperor Ziluo closed his palm and laughed loudly.
Boom.
Otherwise, at this moment, the huge purple hand would have been sent flying away after shaking violently. Emperor Ziluo's arm shook, his blood roiling. His expression changed. How is this possible? Who attacked in the dark? Get out here. The others were also on high alert. If Emperor Ziluo was at a disadvantage, it had to be some other emperor lord. This Lin Wuti was truly sinister. He had secretly brought a great emperor with him. Nine-Crowned King looked up, his scalp tingling. Even Hun Qianqian was taken aback. It seemed that she had been too worried. It turned out that this brat had some means to protect himself. He wondered which senior had come. "Stop looking, I am right here," Lin Xian said coldly. "You?" Countless eyes looked toward Lin Xian. Emperor Zi Luo snorted. "Kid, don't flatter yourself. You can beat my palm?" He didn't believe it. It wasn't that he hadn't fought Lin Xian before. Last time, he hadn't killed Lin Xian. That was because Lin Xian had the complete sky-devouring jar and the great dragon sword spirit. Both of these items were at the level of a martial monarch, and they were fully awakened. That was why he hadn't been able to kill him. Just now, he hadn't felt the sky-devouring jar or the great dragon sword's power. This meant that someone else had attacked him. "You are really ignorant." Lin Xian shook his head. The next moment he raised his palm. "Now, I will let you feel my power." As soon as he finished speaking, he punched out. Chapter 58-99. Lin Xian waved his fist and charged over. His golden fist shone like the sun. With a loud boom, Great Emperor Violet Fall was sent flying, smashing through the void.
What?
The Great Emperor was sent flying? How was that possible? How could Lin Wudi be so terrifying? The Nirvana Realm warriors in the valley were all stunned. This scene made their scalps go numb as if they were in a dream. Great Emperor Zi Luo was also shocked. He gritted his teeth and roared, "How can your strength be so close to that of a great emperor's? To be able to send him flying." This strength was comparable to his. But it shouldn't be. He was chasing after Lin Wudi before. Now he was as powerful as him.
"No, your physique."
Great Emperor Zi Luo's pupils constricted. "Nine Yang Divine Body, your physique has reached phenomenal success." As soon as these words came out, the people of the Nirvana realm gasped. It was said that a phenomenal success divine body could fight against a great emperor. They didn't expect it to be true. This guy's strength was too terrifying. The Nine Yang Divine Body was very difficult to reach phenomenal success, but he succeeded. "That's right. My divine body has reached phenomenal success. So, are you ready to lose?" Lin Xian said loudly. "Kid, you're too arrogant." "So, what if you've reached phenomenal success? I'm a great emperor, higher than you. I'm still stronger than you. I'll kill you in your strongest state and let you die in the most desperate state." Great Emperor Zi Luo roared and charged out. His palm turned into a purple cloud that filled the sky and swept across the sky. Lin Xian laughed and waved his fist to fight back. The two fought fiercely, shaking heaven and earth and shattering mountains and rivers. It was as if the end of the world had happened. The surrounding people all retreated frantically.
It was too terrifying.
These two people were too terrifying and had infinite power. What made them even more frightened was that Lin Xian could really fight against a great emperor. "Ha, great emperor? Is this all you've got?" Lin Xian's divine body was unparalleled. His fist could break the universe, and Great Emperor Zi Luo's body kept shaking. Great Emperor Zi Luo was so angry that he vomited blood. He was underestimated by a young man. Purple Immortal Seal.
He roared.
Immortal chi erupted from his body, condensing into a large seal that slammed over. Endless light. Seeing that his opponent had unleashed his ultimate skill, Lin Xian also unleashed his own ultimate skill. Endless light flew out from his body, illuminating the world. It was as if the god of light had descended. "Brat, it's useless. You're not my opponent at all. You'll fall under my mental cultivation technique." Great Emperor Zi Luo sneered. The purple immortal seal descended and collided with the boundless light. A shocking sound rang out. Indeed, the boundless light was shattered by the purple immortal seal. Emperor Zi Luo was immensely pleased with himself. Suddenly, however, his pupils shrank. "Damn it, how could it be like this?" Emperor Zi Luo suddenly exclaimed, because he realized that the violet immortal seal had been blocked. It turned out that the boundless light had gathered in the air to form a mirror. It was like a divine sun mirror, extremely terrifying. The mirror emitted a ray of light that split the immortal seal in half. Impossible. You actually managed to break my immortal technique. Emperor Ziluo was completely dumbfounded. Although his soul wasn't complete, he was still a great emperor. He had immortal qi. How terrifying was he? His immortal technique definitely surpassed everything. No one could beat it. But now it had been blocked by his opponent. Damn it! Was this the power of a greater success divine body? How could it be so powerful? Could it be that you used your divine body to enter Ten Crown King? Thinking of this, his scalp went numb. Even great emperors hadn't reached this level. When Lin Xian heard this, he sneered.
What?
Are you shocked? What will shock you is yet to come. This isn't my full strength. Later, I'll let you know the meaning of despair. Not his full strength? When the otherworld powerhouses heard this, they went crazy. How strong was this Lin Wuti? Could it be that he already had the combat power of a great emperor before becoming one? Brat, you can never offend a great emperor. I'll let you die in despair. Emperor Ziluo roared. Immortal qi erupted from his body, condensing between his eyebrows to form an eye. It was a vertical eye, completely condensed of immortal qi. It was called the Eye of the Violet Immortal. A powerful immortal technique burst forth from those eyes, causing one's soul to tremble unceasingly. The purple light charged directly at Lin Xian. A soul attack? Ha, this is too funny. Your soul isn't even complete. How dare you use such a soul attack? Lin Xian threw his head back and laughed. Sun God roar. Lin Xian roared. The power of his divine body erupted, turning into sound waves that swept out. The universe was shattering. The surrounding experts of the Nirvana realm were instantly torn apart and fell from the sky. His voice could destroy everything. Damn it, he was too strong.
Run.
These people fled one after another. Their terrifying voices and terrifying gazes clashed together. Dazzling laws erupted. It's useless. You're not a complete great emperor. You can't fight me. Today, I'll kill you, the great emperor. Lin Xian was getting more and more powerful. Die for me. Emperor Ziluo's expression was cold. He kept waving his palms. Endless immortal qi condensed, forming laws that rushed down. Purple clouds formed in the sky. Within those clouds, there were illusions of immortal mountains that quickly condensed. Finally, with the roar of the great Tao, it fell down, crushing everything. Lin Xian clenched his right fist and flew out like a sun. It turned into a sun in the sky. The golden crow grew wings and 3 claws. It kept waving it, tearing an immortal mountain apart. Endless gravel flew, and huge rocks rolled down. The immortal mountain cracked. The sun golden crow roared and shot out flames to meet the attack. Damn it! Emperor Ziluo turned into a purple bolt of lightning, shuttling back and forth. At the same time, his hands gathered to form a sky diagram. Purple light erupted from it, forming all kinds of strange phenomena to fight against it. The sky diagram enveloped the sun golden crow, trying to refine it. The two collided again, creating an earth-shattering sound.
Boom.
9 suns divine fist. Lin Xian kept waving his fists. In an instant, he punched thousands of times. This made Emperor Ziluo feel as if he was struck by lightning. He kept retreating. In the distance, the spectators on the other side of the river felt their scalps go numb. Was Emperor Ziluo being suppressed? Was he at a disadvantage? They were all crazy. Was a phenomenal success divine body so terrifying? He had not become a great emperor yet. If he became a great emperor, who could be his match? Good boy, I've really underestimated you. Emperor Ziluo's face was pale. There were flames of anger in his eyes. I didn't expect you to be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with a great emperor. However, you've angered me. Although half of my soul is missing, my body is complete. I'll let you see the true body of a great emperor. Emperor Ziluo took a deep breath. The immortal qi pattern covered his entire body. It crushed the heavens. It was as if he was a deity, and his body was constantly bursting forth. Chapter 50, 900. Great Emperor Zi Luo's body glowed brightly, and he became extremely brave. He turned into a heavenly god and quickly charged over. Lin Xian fought with him. The battle between the two was earth-shattering, and countless cracks appeared in the void. Lin Xian was shocked. He had to admit that the Great Emperor was really too powerful. The other party's physique made his nine-yang divine body shake, and many of the flames were extinguished. Did you see that? Great Emperor Zi Luo sneered. Even if you break through, you're still no match for me. Lin Xian smiled. Is it something to be proud of? You're a great emperor, and I'm just a king. There's a big gap between us. Now that we're even, you're actually happy? Is there something wrong with your brain? After hearing that, Great Emperor Zi Luo's face turned cold. Indeed, he was a realm higher than the other party. Their physique had just tied. He couldn't be happy at all. He was very angry. Boy, I'm just telling you that even though your divine body has reached the phenomenal success level, you can only compete with me. It's impossible for you to defeat me. In the past, even in the face of a great emperor, he had to back off. He didn't dare to be arrogant at all. Since you're so arrogant, I'll send you to hell. As he spoke, his power erupted again, shattered the void, and swallowed Lin Xian. Even Lin Xian was forced to retreat as his qi and blood churned. Humph, the power of the divine body didn't disappoint me. It's already beyond my expectation that you can fight with a great emperor like this. Besides, who told you that? I only have the nine-yang divine body, and I also have the dragon sword soul. Next, I'll show you the heaven-defying technique that I created. Lin Xian used his divine body again and rushed over. At the same time, an extremely terrifying power appeared in his body. It was the power of the dragon sword soul. The power of his divine body erupted again. He slapped out with his palm, and the dragon of the sun roared between heaven and earth.
Boom.
Great Emperor Zi Luo was sent flying. The great emperor was so angry that he vomited blood. Do you think you're the only one with an ancient scripture? Look at my purple sky ancient scripture. He also used his unique skill from the ancient scripture. The two fought again. It was earth-shattering. They were evenly matched. Everyone was dumbfounded. One had to know that being evenly matched was not a good result. This was because there was a difference of a major realm between the two of them. Lin Xian could already contend against great emperors. This was too terrifying. After blocking his opponent's attack, Lin Xian used the god of 9 suns. In the blink of an eye, it transformed into a 30,000-foot-tall sun god. He sent his opponent flying. Soon after, he laughed and said, "Great Emperor is nothing more than this." He relied on the god of 9 suns to suppress Great Emperor Zi Luo. The golden palm continued to descend, shattering the heavens. It was too terrifying. The people from the other side felt their scalps go numb. If it were any other expert, they would have been killed long ago. Get lost! Great Emperor Zi Luo roared. The void shattered as the purple sword flew out and slashed at the god of the 9 suns. Only then did he manage to block the attack. Then, the purple immortal sword returned to Emperor Zi Luo's side with terrifying flames and lightning. It was the extreme purple sword that he used. The people from the other side exclaimed. It seemed that Great Emperor Zi Luo was really angry. With the help of an extreme weapon, his combat power would increase again. He was unbelievably powerful. Slash! With a roar, the extreme purple sword fell. Purple flames danced, lightning filled the sky, and the sky cracked. A sea of blood fell, as if the world was about to be destroyed. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. Although his divine body had reached the great success stage, he could contend against great emperors. But he had to admit that great emperors were really too strong. Great emperors could cultivate true divine fire and immortal qi. They were far above everything else. Only 10-crown king, who was in a special realm, could contend against them. Otherwise, a group of 9-crown kings would not be able to break through the great emperor's defense. At that moment, The sword strike unleashed by his opponent was even more powerful when combined with the power of an extreme Dao weapon. Lin Xian didn't take it head-on. He tore open the void and disappeared. It's useless. You can't escape. Purple sword Qi followed like a shadow. It also tore the void and attacked. Lin Xian's expression was cold. He snorted and took out the heaven-devouring jar and the black vortex to block. The two devoured each other. Lin Xian blocked his opponent. Then he said, "Do you think you're the only one with an extreme weapon?" He took out the Immortal Slayer sword. This sword had once killed immortals. Today, it will be stained with your blood. Lin Xian swung the Immortal Slayer sword and attacked. Boom, boom, boom. The two long swords clashed in the air. It was as if thousands of worlds were colliding. The sky kept shattering, turning into black holes. Large cracks spread across the sky. At this moment, even the people searching for treasures in the distant celestial land were shocked. Heavens, were the great emperors fighting again?
Who was it?
They looked into the distance. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, the void cracked. Winds and clouds surged in the celestial land. The sky turned blood red, and blood rained down. Countless people were shocked. The 9 crowned kings all looked up at the sky. Heaven and earth mourned. The great emperor was injured. This was the blood of a great emperor. The phenomenon in the celestial land quickly disappeared. Only the rain of blood was left. Outside, the deity ground, and the universe seemed to have been destroyed. Countless living beings knelt on the ground. They trembled in fear. Great Emperor Zi Luo screamed. There was a sword mark on his body. His opponent had actually managed to break through his defenses and injure him. He had gone crazy. He had always been high and mighty. When had he ever been injured? Moreover, he was injured by a great emperor. Previously, the greater mastery divine body had been able to stand on equal footing with him, but all it had done was cause his blood to churn. It had never hurt him. Now, the sword, coupled with the divine body's power, had cut through his body.
Damn it.
You have an ancient divine sword? I don't believe it. I'm going to kill you. He roared at the sky and waved the amethyst sword wildly. A great emperor's anger was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian was also beaten. His blood was in turmoil. He kept retreating. He roared, "God of 9 suns." His body grew to 100 feet tall. He stood tall in the sky and turned into the god of the sun. The immortal slaying sword in his hand also transformed into a 10,000-meter-long sword. He held it in his hand. Heaven battling strike. Countless worlds became incomparably bright. It was as if thousands of suns had appeared between heaven and earth. Everyone was sweating profusely. Their bodies were about to melt. Great Emperor Zi Luo was sent flying again. He vomited blood. Blood fiend. Great Emperor Zi Luo roared at the sky. His great emperor blood, combined with immortal qi, formed countless blood swords and flew out. These blood swords were originally by Lin Xian's side. Now that they attacked, they were extremely terrifying. Lin Xian's divine body of 9 suns was also pierced. Divine blood of great success dripped down, dyeing the 9 heavens red. Lin Xian roared at the sky. He did not retreat at all.
Kill.
Together with the god of 9 suns, Lin Xian once again displayed the great dragon sword soul. The great dragon sword merged with the immortal slaying sword, causing the 10,000-meter-long immortal slaying sword to transform. It turned into a giant dragon. Lin Xian held the giant dragon in his hand. It was incomparably sharp and slashed in all directions. The amethyst sword was beaten back repeatedly. The divine body was already very strong. Coupled with the invincible power, it was really powerful to the extreme. Heaven-defying sword, soaring dragon. With a roar, the giant dragon soared. It turned into a peerless divine light. Chapter 50-901.
Boom.
Great Emperor Zi Luo spat out blood and flew back. 3 cracks had appeared on his body, almost splitting him apart. Great Emperor Zi Luo was in a miserable state. He had not expected his opponent to have such combat strength. More importantly, his opponent's aura was too strong. His confidence had taken a huge hit. There was nothing he could do about it. He had been careless and did not believe that his opponent had the combat strength of a great emperor. Following that, he was suppressed. His confidence was also suppressed. This way, he could not unleash his full combat strength. He used the amethyst sword to protect his vitals. Great Emperor Zi Luo's immortal qi absorbed the power of the heavens and began to heal. But the process was very slow because it contained the power of the Great Dragon Sword. The Great Dragon Sword was indestructible. Anyone who was hit by it would find it difficult to heal. Even with the immortal qi, Great Emperor Zi Luo could not heal completely in an instant. When Lin Xian saw this, he snorted. "That's all you've got?" He was very happy. The nine-yang divine body was too strong. It was on par with the physique of a great emperor. The Great Dragon Sword had become stronger after devouring the dragon vein for 100,000 years. Now, with the help of the Immortal Slayer Sword, it could hurt a great emperor. Lin Xian was very satisfied. He felt that he could even fight a great emperor at full strength. "Good boy, just you wait. Higan will not let you go." Great Emperor Zi Luo was suppressed and wanted to leave. He turned and left. Lin Xian sneered. "I have no intention of letting you go."
Boom.
He stepped on the divine fire and chased quickly. At the same time, the 9 suns turned into golden wings. As a result, his speed was extremely fast. Damn it! Great Emperor Zi Luo stepped on the purple clouds and flew quickly like an immortal. The two of them, one in front and one behind, began the chase. There were not many people in the upper heavens, so not many people had seen Great Emperor Zi Luo. He had been hiding somewhere, but he was very unlucky. He entered a large river in the upper heavens. The river suddenly emitted the aura of a corpse. A rotten finger that was still wrapped in bandages reached out to grab him. He sent Great Emperor Zi Luo flying. Great Emperor Zi Luo felt like his body was about to rot. He was shocked. The Azure Land was incomparably mysterious. In the past, countless experts had been buried here. Perhaps there were even immortal-level existences. He didn't dare to be impudent. He could only change directions and fly out of the high heavens. Lin Xian was also surprised. The heavenly land was too mysterious. This rotten finger. There was also the inexplicable killing intent he had sensed in the mountain range. All of this showed that everything was not simple. From the looks of it, he would have to properly investigate the Azure Land when he had the time in the future. But now, he wanted to kill the other party. Lin Xian was like a god, quickly chasing after him. The two left high heavens and fought their way into the deity ground. Countless people in the celestial land felt the aura and looked up at the sky. What did the heavens show them? This was a type of great emperor. He was bleeding, turning into a sea of blood. Was he hurt?
Who was it?
Was that the sun god behind him? The sun god was chasing a great emperor. Countless people went crazy. In front of him, Great Emperor Zi Luo roared, "Lin Wuti, don't be arrogant. If you attack me, Bian won't let you go."
What?
Lin Wuti? The sun god behind him was Lin Wuti. Countless people were stunned. They were no stranger to this name. Wasn't he the #1 genius from the universe? He was extremely powerful. He had the talent to become a great emperor. But now, he was already able to kill a great emperor? What happened? Could it be that Lin Wuti had already become a great emperor? The people in the celestial land were stunned. Humph, if Bian was so powerful, why didn't anyone come to save him? Because in their eyes, he was just a piece of trash. And he was indeed a piece of trash. Today, I'll send him to hell. Lin Xian sneered. The boundless fire of the sun he carried shone down. Endless light enveloped the entire celestial land. At this moment, the celestial land seemed to have turned into a nation of the sun. The power of the divine fire spun and turned into thousands of golden crows, sweeping over and blocking Great Emperor Zi Luo. Great Emperor Zi Luo attacked with his sword. Immortal qi burst out, and he kept attacking the golden crows. However, he was a little slow, and Lin Xian caught up with him. Lin Xian used the Yang Mirror and attacked with a shocking blow. The Yang Mirror was very powerful. It could absorb the power of infinite light. Then it merged with it to form a point. The power of this point was extremely powerful. As expected, the light from the Yang Mirror pierced through Great Emperor Ziluo's shoulder.
He was injured again. Uffed.
Great Emperor Ziluo vomited blood. Below, the people in the celestial land exclaimed. The Great Emperor was injured again. Lin Wuti injured the Great Emperor. Heavens, if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it.
Not only that.
Even if I saw it with my own eyes, I still wouldn't dare to believe it. Lin Wuti was too terrifying. Lin Wuti had become a great emperor. Somewhere in the celestial land was called Divine Dragon City. This was the place where the dragons lived. At this moment, the dragons looked up at the sky. Lin Wuti, is that our dragon god? Has he become a great emperor? He's too powerful. This is great. There's hope for the dragon race to rise again. The dragons in Divine Dragon City cheered, but the families in the depths of the celestial land were in despair. They were so frightened that they knelt on the ground. In the Moon Palace, Guanghan Immortal looked through the void. When he saw the scene, he was also shocked. His divine body had reached phenomenal success. He could fight against a great emperor. In addition to his trump card, he was very powerful now. From the looks of it, it won't be long before I have to make a trip. On the other side, there was an endless murderous aura. Under the wall formed by the bones of powerhouses, a figure stood. It was a beautiful woman, but she was wearing a black robe. The murderous aura on her was terrifying. She was called the Moon Goddess. The Moon Goddess also felt Lin Xian and Great Emperor Ziluo's aura. She also looked up. The murderous aura in her eyes shattered the sky. No, the Demon Emperor's aura was gone. Was he separated from the Demon Emperor? The Moon Goddess stared at Lin Xian in shock. She'd seen Lin Xian before. Last time, Lin Xian had the power of the demon summoning crystal and could summon the Demon Emperor's welcome. She'd almost killed him back then. But now, when she saw Lin Xian, he didn't have any demonic aura anymore. Could it be that the Demon Emperor had failed? She knew that the Demon Transformation Sutra had a big secret, which was to turn the cultivator into a puppet. The stronger the Illusion Demon Sutra, the more likely the Demon Emperor would be resurrected. In the end, the cultivator would die, and the Demon Emperor would be resurrected. But now Lin Wuti was still alive. Could it be that the Demon Emperor had failed? The Moon Goddess shook her head frantically. No, that person couldn't have died so easily. I want to kill him with my own hands. She knew the Demon Emperor's ability very well. She looked away and looked at the wall of bones in front of her. She said in a low voice, I want to reappear in the world. The pursuit caused countless clans and sects in the celestial land to be shaken. All the hidden great emperors were also surprised. They wondered what the final result would be. Chapter 5902. Great Emperor Ziluo fled in all directions. In the end, he had no choice but to flee into the universe. Everyone felt the power of the Great Emperor and was terrified. They knelt on the ground and kowtowed. However, when they saw that the Great Emperor was injured, they were stunned. The Great Emperor was a supreme existence in their eyes. He was like a god. But now he was injured. Who could injure the Great Emperor? You can't escape. At this moment, everyone saw a sun war god chasing after him. His terrifying aura swept in all directions. This was the Nine-Yang Divine Body. This voice was Lin Wuti's voice. Heaven, Lin Wuti had become the sun war god and was chasing after the Great Emperor. Countless people were shocked. After the news spread, those from the monarch race were shocked. What? Lin Wuti had become a great emperor? The Qilin race went crazy. The Gu family was also terrified. They hurriedly used their void abilities to investigate. No, Lin Wuti didn't have any divine flames or immortal energy. He wasn't a great emperor. But if he wasn't a great emperor, how could he injure one? The Kuanping family didn't understand. However, the Yi family's experts said that he had a great success divine body. The nine-yang divine body was a super physique in the universe. Once it reached great success, it could fight against a great emperor. In addition to Lin Wudi's trump card, it wasn't impossible that he had an extreme weapon. Great success divine body. The other families were also shocked. The nine-yang divine body was extremely powerful. Such a physique surpassed everyone of the same level. Very few people have reached large success, but now Lin Wudi has actually cultivated the nine-yang divine body to large success. It was unbelievable. He already had the power of a great emperor. The monarch race could only look up. The Yi family clenched their fists. Their eyes were filled with hope. Yi Wudao's divine body was also a super physique. Once it reached great success, it wouldn't be weaker than the nine-yang divine body. Now, the power of the divine body shocked them. What kind of power would a great success divine body display? Of course, it was very difficult to reach great success. They didn't know if Yi Wudao could succeed. The people from the divine union cheered. It was the union leader. The union leader's divine body had reached great success.
Great.
Wasn't the great emperor being chased by our union leader? The union leader was invincible. They were really too happy. Great Emperor Zi Luo continued to flee. In the end, he suffered 2 more stabs.
Then,
only after paying a price and burning his immortal energy did he leave. Brat, just you wait, I won't let you off. An evil voice rang out. Great Emperor Zi Luo swore that he would definitely take revenge. Did he escape? Lin Xian snorted coldly. He did not chase after them. After all, it was easy to defeat a great emperor, but difficult to kill one. However, he didn't care. With his current combat strength, he was simply too powerful. He could enter the high heavens and help his father and Lord Alcohol. Give them a helping hand. Lin Xian returned to the Divine Union in a flash. Greetings, Alliance Master. The members of the Divine Union were extremely excited. They looked at Lin Xian as though they were looking at a god. Lin Xian stayed in the Divine Union for a period of time to guide everyone's cultivation. Furthermore, he also needed to recover. He had also been injured in the battle with Great Emperor Zi Luo and had used up a lot of energy. He had to recover to his peak first. When his body recovered, Lin Xian entered the sword world again. He realized that the toad was already awake. It kept roaring, and the aura on its body was extremely terrifying. Haha, brat, I succeeded. I really swallowed its power. He was like a peerless old monster, very happy. Then, he stared at Lin Xian and said, Brat, do you want to feel my power? Come, I'll deal with you with 1 claw. I'll let you have 3 moves. The toad stared at Lin Xian, wanting to spar. Lin Xian had a strange expression. He said, Are you sure? The toad said, Why, don't you dare? Don't worry, we're friends. I won't hurt you. However, I have to bully you properly. He laughed proudly. You make the first move. All right, don't regret it. Lin Xian nodded his head and struck out. With a bang, the toad was sent flying. He screamed in the air. It hurts so much. This is impossible. How can you make me feel pain? The toad was stunned. He had absorbed half of the toad's power. Now, he could be considered a pseudo-emperor. Although he didn't have immortal energy, his physique had already surpassed the 9-crown king and reached an extremely powerful realm. In his opinion, only a true great emperor could defeat him. The other 9-crown kings were no match for him. But now Lin Xian didn't even use an extreme weapon and sent him flying. The toad jumped over and said, Brat, you're too strange. What power did you use? Great dragon sword? Lin Xian said, No, you haven't. You've been cultivating for too long. Don't you know that I've also broken through? Broke through? What? Broke through? You're still a quasi-emperor? The toad's face was filled with suspicion. Lin Xian smiled. Come, let me see what realm your strength has reached. In the next moment, The divine flame on Lin Xian's body jumped. 9 suns surrounded him. He transformed into the Sun War God and rushed over to fight with the toad. The toad blocked. Not long after, he cried out in surprise. 9 Yang Divine Body. You actually broke through the large success stage of the 9 Yang Divine Body. The toad was sent flying again. He was speechless. Stop. I'm not going to play with you anymore. The toad was depressed. Originally, when he became a quasi-emperor, he wanted to perform well and bully Lin Xian. Then, he would see the other party's depressed expression. Who would have thought that the other party would make him depressed? The large success stage of the 9 Yang Divine Body is even more terrifying than my half-emperor physique. The toad was surprised. You still have an extreme weapon and the Great Dragon Stream. No, I'm not going to fight with you anymore. The toad only shook his head. Lin Xian also withdrew his hand and said, You're already very strong. Only I can defeat you. Other than that, those 9 crown kings below the Great Emperor are no match for you at all. I guess that although your strength can't compete with a true Great Emperor, you should be able to compete with a Supreme. Really? Am I that powerful? If I go out now, can I walk sideways? The toad was excited. Lin Xian said, Other than the heavenly land, you can walk sideways. Haha, that's great. The toad was very happy. Let's go to the Great Emperor's family. I've long had my eyes on the Great Emperor's family. I'll take a look at their Great Emperor's ancient scriptures and observe their extreme weapons. I'll also eat a few heavenly treasures. Let's see who dares to stop me. The toad seemed to want to stir up a storm. Lin Xian gave him a slap and said, We still have business to attend to. Follow me to the heavenly land. What happened in the heavenly land? The toad was puzzled. Lin Xian explained the situation to him. The toad cried out in alarm. Is the Empress in danger? I have to protect the Empress. However, I really want to see a few Great Emperor's ancient scriptures. The ancient scriptures I have are incomplete. Chapter 5903. Lin Xian thought for a moment, then smiled. I also have an idea. Let's take a look at the ancient scriptures of other lands. Is that true? Kid, do you think so too? Good, we happen to be on the same wavelength. The toad said. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. There's no rush. Let's wait for Qingcheng and the others to come back first. Lin Xian looked into the distance of the sword world, his eyes flickering. He began to transmit his voice to the Morong Qingcheng, the Crimson Dragon, and the others. When those people received the news, they began to return from the depths of the sword world and gathered together. The Crimson Dragon came and roared, Damn, Toad, you broke through. The toad said, I already have the body of a pseudo-emperor, let me feel it. Its big claws slapped towards the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon's blood and chi churned. Stop, I can't beat you. He and the Hellfire Dragon were no match for the toad, even if they worked together. The body of a pseudo-emperor was indeed strong. Toad, you're one step ahead. But don't worry, Ben Huang will also enter this realm one day. The Crimson Dragon was not discouraged. With this mysterious sword world, they all saw hope. Kid, hurry up and tell them. The toad couldn't wait. Qingcheng and the others were also puzzled. Brother Xian, what's the matter? Lin Xian said. At this realm, the next level is the Great Emperor. So, we want to read a few more ancient scriptures of the Great Emperor. I have the ancient scriptures of the Demon Emperor here, as well as the heaven-defying art that I created myself. Qingcheng, you should have the ancient scriptures of the Phoenix clan, right? And Rui, your Azure Emperor ancient scripture. I think everyone should take it out and study it together. Every great emperor was one of a kind. They were the strongest of their generation. These great emperors were all good at different fields, so the ancient scriptures they created were the strongest cultivation methods of each era. Reading other ancient scriptures of the great emperors would be of great help to their own great Tao. Okay, no problem. Yan Ryu took out the Azure Emperor ancient scripture. Morong Qingcheng took out the ancient Phoenix scripture. Lin Xian took out the Devil Emperor's inheritance. The inheritances of the three emperors shone brightly in the void. They were like books of the great Tao, filled with mysterious energy. The eyes of the toad and the crimson dragon burned with passion. Just one of these things was enough to make all the worlds go crazy. And now, there were 3 successions of martial monarchs here. Let's all comprehend it together. Everyone sat down cross-legged. Lin Xian's eyes sparkled as he comprehended the ancient Phoenix scripture and the Azure Arch ancient scripture. Now that he had broken through, he was strong enough to fight against an immortal emperor. However, it wasn't enough. He wanted to become a true immortal emperor. Besides, he wanted the people around him to follow the same path and achieve the martial monarch realm too. Only then would he be able to fight Higan. As for whether there would be many great emperors in this era, Lin Xian didn't know, but he felt that it was possible. After all, with the 9 heavens and 10 earths, there might be a way. The ancient Phoenix scripture transformed into a phoenix that soared between heaven and earth. The powerful and mysterious power surprised Lin Xian. Phoenixes were not weaker than true dragons. They were also ancient divine beasts. The Phoenix clan was extremely powerful. Legend had it that they had the Phoenix Nirvana technique, which could allow them to be reborn when they were on the verge of death. Their strength would become even stronger. The ancient Phoenix village was indeed extraordinary. The Azure Arch ancient scripture was also extremely mysterious. The Azure Arch was also a super great emperor. Legend had it that after the ancient times, the power of heaven and earth became weaker and weaker, and it became more and more difficult to become a great emperor. However, the Azure Arch rose against the heavens, growing from a small lotus to a great emperor. Among the lost techniques created by the Azure Arch, there were some very famous ones, such as the Lotus Steps and the Azure Arch 9 Slashes. As for the Demon Emperor, he was even more mysterious. It was said that the Demon Emperor was very terrifying. He acted strangely, and his methods were ruthless. How could he become a Demon Emperor if he wasn't crazy? Lin Xian had experienced the Demon Emperor's ancient scripture before. It was called the Illusion Demon Scripture. His methods could be said to be extremely terrifying. When Morom Qingcheng and Yan Ryu read the Demon Emperor's ancient scripture, their little faces were a little pale. This ancient scripture was too terrifying and strange. It was not suitable for their great Tao. However, they still read it. Although the path that the Devil Emperor walked was not suitable for them, it could still give them inspiration. Among them, the Toad was the most excited. The Toad was now a pseudo-emperor. He had swallowed half of the frog. Therefore, he urgently needed these great emperors' cultivation techniques and experiences. After he finished reading, he said, "It's not enough. It's not small enough. Do you want us to go to the other great emperors' clans?" So arrogant. The Crimson Dragon jumped up. "However, I like the small ones. I also want to see the other great emperors' clans' inheritances." The Yi clan's Heavenly Emperor scripture and the Gu clan's Void scripture were incomparably mysterious. "Let's go, I'll take you there." Lin Xian did indeed have such thoughts. Furthermore, he now had the ability to do so. Legend had it that in the past, other great emperors had also read the ancient scriptures from the great emperors' clans. Now Lin Xian was preparing to do the same. First, Lin Xian was going to the Yi clan. Lin Xian and the Yi clan had a good relationship. Therefore, it should be fine. When Lin Xian arrived at the Yi clan, all the Yi clan members moved out to greet him respectfully. "Greetings, Lin Gongzi." Today's Lin Xian was no longer the young boy from back then. Now he could hunt down great emperors. Great success, divine body. This was an existence comparable to great emperors. How could they be careless? They were all extremely respectful. Looking at those old figures, Lin Xian said, "Everyone, there's no need to be so polite. Why did Lin Gongzi and the others come to our clan?" The Yi clan leader asked cautiously. Lin Xian said, "Indeed, there is something." He didn't try to hide anything. Instead, he went straight to the point. "I'm here to borrow the Heavenly Emperor scripture."
What?
The Yi clan leader was stunned. The Yi clan experts also sucked in a breath of cold air. It turned out to be this. Lin Xian said, "Everyone, don't worry. I'm just borrowing the scripture. In the future, when Wu Dao tries to break through to the Great Emperor realm, I will lend him other scriptures. He can choose the Phoenix Ancient Scripture, the Azure Emperor Ancient Scripture, or the Demon Emperor Ancient Scripture." Lin Xian and Yi Wudao were friends. Although they hadn't seen each other for a long time, this little help was no problem. "Lin Gongzi, you're too polite. We understand helping each other." However, the Heavenly Emperor Scripture was in Wu Dao's hands. Wu Dao wasn't at home now, so Lin Gongzi probably couldn't see it for the time being. The Yi clan leader knew that Lin Xian, who had a great success divine body, would definitely borrow the scripture. Because in the past, there had been a great emperor who had borrowed the Yi clan's scripture and left after a few glances. Therefore, Lin Xian wasn't the first. It was just that Yi Wudao really wasn't there. Lin Xian was stunned. "Where is Wu Dao now?" The Yi clan leader smiled bitterly. "We don't know. We don't know." The Crimson Dragon said, "How can that be? Yi Wudao is also a divine body, the hope of your Yi clan.
How can you not know?
The Yi clan leader shook his head and sighed. "We've always been in contact with Wu Dao and paid attention to his movements. However, half a year ago, news of Wu Dao suddenly disappeared. Until now, his whereabouts are still unknown. Aren't you worried?"
The toad asked.
The Yi clan leader said, "His soul jade tablet didn't break, so I think he must have had a fortuitous encounter." Chapter 5904. So that's how it is. Lin Xian nodded. "I understand. Then I'll take my leave. If there's news of Wu Dao, we'll discuss this matter again." Lin Xian stood up and prepared to leave with everyone. They respectfully sent off Lin Gongzi. The Yi family bowed in unison. Lin Xian soared into the air, but stopped when he was midair. "Right, I have a question. Lin Gongzi, is there anything else?" The Yi family patriarch asked. Lin Xian said, "Many great emperors have awakened from their ancient slumber. The Yi family's celestial emperor senior should be extremely powerful among great emperors.
He shouldn't be dead."
Could it be that he hasn't awakened yet? Haven't you looked for him? The Yi family patriarch said, "Of course we have. However, there's a clue that Yi Wudao is pursuing. He disappeared half a year ago. We suspected that it might be related to the celestial emperor." "Understood. I'll wait for him to return." Lin Xian left with his people. The Yi family's ancient scriptures aren't here. Where should we go? The Gu family? The Qilin family, or the Kunpeng family? There were many great emperor families, but the merciless passage of time didn't necessarily mean that all of them had been passed down. Besides, even if they were passed down, many of them would be broken. After all, Lin Xian had seen many great emperors. If these great emperors had families, the number would be shocking. However, there didn't seem to be so many great emperor families in the universe. Lin Xian had asked along. Some great emperors didn't have families at all. Some great emperors did, but later on, they were destroyed. After all, the Prometha had descended more than once. Every time it descended, it would set off a storm. Moreover, there were still living supremes who were secretly making moves. Therefore, even great emperor families didn't have a high chance of surviving. Lin Xian gradually felt this point. The Prometha had begun to make moves crazily. It began to target the top geniuses, suppressing them and bringing them back to nurture. As for the other families and sects, it was crazily collecting resources. Under such power, even a living great emperor might not be able to withstand it. Not to mention those clans. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian's eyes flashed. He said, "Next, let's go to the Kunpeng clan." The Kunpeng great emperor possessed yin and yang. Lin Xian's god body had reached the level of major success, but his other abilities had yet to reach the level of Ten Crown King. For example, his Tai Chi diagram was extremely useful. If he could improve its power, it would further improve his strength. Therefore, Lin Xian wanted to see the Kunpeng Great Emperor's ancient scriptures to increase the power of the Taiji diagram. When Lin Xian arrived at the Kunpeng tribe, the people of the Kunpeng tribe were on high alert. Lin Gongzi, have we offended you recently? The Kunpeng patriarch was on the verge of tears. They had all witnessed Lin Xian's strength. To be able to hunt down a great emperor in the myriad worlds, this strength was too frightening. Kunpengzi was also there. At this moment his face was pale. He remembered that when he first saw Lin Xian, he was still high and mighty, looking down on him. But now Lin Xian had grown to the point where he could only look up to him. This made him feel fear and despair. Lin Xian directly stated his intention. He wanted to see the Kunpeng Great Emperor's ancient scriptures. Kunpengzi's pupils shrank. The people of the Kunpeng family were also pale. Would they dare to refuse? They were afraid that even if they gathered the strength of their families, they would still be no match for Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "Don't worry, I won't treat you badly. I also have ancient scriptures. We can exchange them." Really? Kunpengzi was stunned. Lin Xian was so polite and kind. Lin Xian said, "We are all from the myriad worlds. We should work together to fight against the otherworld heavenly king." Yes, Lin Gongzi was right. The Kunpeng patriarch nodded quickly. He smiled and said, "Why don't you thank Lin Gongzi?" The entire Kunpeng family hurriedly bowed. "Thank you, Lin Gongzi." Lin Xian said, "No, we're just helping each other." Then, Lin Xian took out the Demon Emperor's ancient scripture. The Kunpeng family took out the Kunpeng ancient scripture. The two ancient scriptures bloomed in the air. The Kunpeng ancient scripture turned into the appearance of a Kunpeng. The aura of yin and yang fell, shocking everyone. It was extremely mysterious. Murong Qingcheng and the others also looked serious. The toad, the crimson dragon, and the others even widened their eyes. To be honest, Kunpengzi's strength was not as strong as theirs. The Kunpeng family was also declining. This made them look down on them. But now when they saw the Kunpeng ancient scripture, they all dismissed this idea. The Kunpeng Great Emperor was too strong. His yin and yang supernatural power seemed to have connected the two worlds. It was just that no one in the Kunpeng family had been able to cultivate it. Lin Xian was overjoyed. The laws of yin and yang and the Tai Chi diagram had many similarities. Therefore, Lin Xian directly used the yin-yang diagram. He sat cross-legged on the Tai Chi diagram and began to observe the Kunpeng bone essence. 10 days later, Lin Xian stood up and said, "Thank you." He had some enlightenment. On the other side, the Kunpeng family and the others also hurriedly bowed. They also looked away. The Demon Emperor's ancient scripture was also incomparably exquisite. Moreover, it was strange and ever-changing. It was an eye-opener for them. Next, Lin Xian asked about the Kunpeng Great Emperor. After all, this was also an extremely terrifying Great Emperor. Kunpengzi said, "There is no news for the time being." But in the past 2 years, our bloodline has been beating and boiling from time to time, as if there is an ancient summon. We guess that this might be related to the Great Emperor. Lin Xian was surprised, the change in the bloodline. Perhaps the Kunpeng Great Emperor is really not dead. I hope to see him one day. Lin Xian waved his hand and bade farewell to them. Then, they left and did not continue their journey. Previously, when they read the yin-yang ancient scripture, they had some enlightenment about Lin Xian. Therefore, they prepared to enter seclusion for 3 months and set off after 3 months. Lin Xian sat in the sword world and used the Tai Chi diagram with both hands. The aura of yin and yang surrounded him, one hard and one soft. It was extremely mysterious. Lin Xian cultivated the 9-yang divine body, which was invincible. However, it was too high and lacked softness. Now that he had comprehended the Tai Chi diagram, Lin Xian had an additional softness. This was not weakening the hardness, but making it even more terrifying. 3 months later, Lin Xian went to the Qilin family. The Qilin family was first shocked, then excited. Lin Xian did not directly seize the ancient scripture of the earth. Instead, he chose to lend it to each other. This surprised them. They decisively took out the Qilin ancient scripture. Lin Xian and the others read it. The Qilin family also read the Demon Emperor's ancient scripture. The Kunpeng Great Emperor's yin and yang transformation was incomparably terrifying. As for the Qilin Great Emperor, he walked the path of fierceness, which was somewhat similar to the nine-yang divine body. Qilin fire, Qilin arm, swept through the 9 heavens. This was a great emperor, like a god of war. Therefore, Lin Xian was even more excited. His nine-yang divine body could corroborate with the Qilin ancient scripture. In addition to him, Morong Qingcheng, the Crimson Dragon, and the others also gained something. They also corroborated with their ancient scriptures to increase their strength. Half a month later, Lin Xian and the others left again. After another 3 months of cultivation, Lin Xian's nine-yang divine body became even more mysterious. Next was the Gu family. Lin Xian was ready to set off. The ancient void scripture was even more mysterious. Moreover, it was a spatial ability. It was something that Lin Xian and the others had been yearning for a long time. Chapter 5905. Hidden Emperor's Star, Mount Eternal. This place was incomparably dark and had an indestructible power. It was a forbidden land for life in the eyes of everyone. At this moment, there were countless figures standing in Mount Eternal. These people were wearing black robes and standing there. They seemed to be waiting for something. Suddenly, the ancient altar in front of them shook. Immediately after, a figure seemed to have walked through the universe and appeared above the 9 heavens. Then, it slowly descended towards the altar. He appeared. The powerhouses on Mount Eternal were so excited that they trembled. The leading old man knelt down on one knee. "Greetings, Supreme. Greetings, Supreme." Countless people knelt down one after another, their faces full of excitement. A middle-aged man appeared in front of them. His black hair danced wildly, and his eyes were even more terrifying. His body carried an indestructible aura, and he was extremely powerful. He was the Immortal Supreme. "How is the matter that I instructed you to do?" The Immortal Supreme said in a deep voice. The old man in front said, reporting to Supreme, "We are ready to move at any time. Well, now that I am in the heavens, I need a lot of power, and I need a weapon. Go to the Gu family, and bring me the void battle robe."
Yes.
The leading old man stood up, then he waved his hand, and led the crowd away quickly. At this moment, Mount Eternal opened, and endless black powerhouses with an indestructible aura soared into the sky. The nearby families and sects felt the scene and were extremely frightened. Heavens, what is that? It's a forbidden land for life. There are powerhouses coming out of the forbidden land for life. Isn't it too unbelievable? There were many families and sects in the Mount Eternal area, and the Gu family was not far from here. Therefore, not long after, the old man arrived with his people. Looking at the mountain range below, the corners of his mouth raised, and then he slapped out with his palm. The black palm covered the sky and the earth, directly shattering the mountain range below. The earth cracked, and the void shattered. It was a scene of apocalypse. In the mountain range below, there were some families and sections. They were the subordinates of the Gu family. However, at this moment, they did not have time to escape and were immediately shattered, their bodies and souls destroyed. Blood dyed the earth red. A group of ants. The black-robed old man sneered. Behind him was Mount Eternal. The people behind him also laughed. "Elder is mighty. How could trash like them be mentioned in the same breath as us?" One of the young men even shouted coldly, "The people below listen up. Have the Gu family's people roll out." His voice resonated in all directions. Even people in the distance were astonished. What? Were these people targeting the Gu family? The Gu clan was a great emperor clan. Others said, "Didn't you see? These people possessed indestructible power. They were from Mount Eternal, a forbidden land of life." It seemed that the forbidden land of life was going to make a move against the great emperor's clan. He wondered if the Gu family would be able to withstand it. Countless voices discussing the Tao resounded. Someone said, Definitely. The Gu clan was a clan that had produced a great emperor. Moreover, they had spatial divine powers. How powerful was that? Right after he said those words, a spatial crack appeared in the mountain range below. Then a team walked out.
Who was it?
Daring to behave atrociously in the Gu clan. Were they courting death? These were the guards of the Gu family. Their Gu family was proficient in spatial mystiques, so they had opened up a space in this mountain range. They lived in a small space, and at this moment, the destruction of the mountain range outside the space naturally alarmed them, so they sent people over. Courting death? Are you challenging us? In the sky, the powerhouses of the Eternal Clan made their move. A large hand descended from the sky and enveloped these guards. Damn it! These guards roared angrily and tore open the void, trying to dodge. However, it was useless. With a single palm, he killed all of the guards. The people in the distance were stunned. Were they all dead? A rain of blood fell from the sky. The Gu family's divine powers were completely useless. In the sky, the people of Mount Eternal sneered. The people of the Gu family were really trash. Do you think you can be arrogant in front of us just because you know some spatial laws? Hurry up and tell the patriarch of the Gu family to come out. All kinds of disdainful voices sounded. In the Gu family's spatial world, those powerhouses naturally received the news. Immediately, their brows furrowed tightly. Mount Eternal, a forbidden land of life. How arrogant. Did they really think that there was no one else in the Gu family? Damn it, they had to be taught a lesson. Those powerhouses were furious. Some of them had cultivated in the deity ground, and their strength had greatly increased. A young genius said, "Patriarch, let me go and teach him a lesson." "I'll go teach him a lesson. I want him to know our strength." This person was called Gu Lei. He was unusually excited. His figure turned into the void and rushed out in an instant. The people of Mount Eternal outside were still sneering. Suddenly, the void cracked open and endless lightning fell, enveloping them. These lightning bolts were extremely strange and carried the power of space. So, they instantly pierced through the bodies of many people. Some people of Mount Eternal screamed and flew out, blood dripping into the sky. Damn it, who was it? Who dared to sneak attack us? Damn it, Elder, avenge us. Those people were extremely miserable. In the sky, a man walked out and shouted coldly, "I am Gu Lei of the Gu family. You looked down on the Gu family before. This is the price."
What?
It's the Gu family. Damn it. The injured people of Mount Eternal roared. Those in the distance also exclaimed, "I told you, the Gu family is a great emperor family. How could there be no one?" They had also sent many people to the deity ground before. These people's strength had greatly increased when they came back. This Gu Lei was one of the best. "Who dares to fight me one-on-one?" Gu Lei shouted coldly. "I'll do it." On the side of Mount Eternal, a man also walked out. He had a pair of black wings on his back. He was a black bat, and his strength was also extremely terrifying. He rushed over, bringing with him an endless eternal storm. The two of them fought, and all kinds of laws emerged one after another. Gu Lei appeared and disappeared unpredictably. All kinds of terrifying lightning surged over. And this black bat was also amazing. Once the storm was released, it was enough to crush the void. The two of them were evenly matched, which shocked countless people. They were too powerful. However, at this moment, Gu Lei snorted coldly. He threw out a punch. At the same time, the sky cracked open and a lightning god descended, directly hitting the black bat's wing. One of the black bat's wings was pierced, and his body fell from the sky. He was extremely miserable. However, he opened his mouth and spat out a black spear. The indestructible spear also shot towards Gu Lei. Gu Lei used his spatial divine ability to dodge, but he was still hit by this power and spat out blood. Were they both injured? Both of them were injured. Those in the distance were terrified. Even many families of the hidden Emperor Star were alarmed and came to investigate. When they saw the scene, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. Some people of the House of the Ancients were terrified. Was the dark battle about to come? Tens of thousands of years ago, the forbidden land of life had issued a kind of battle to the universe. It was a dark battle. At that time, everyone was terrified and desperate. The entire universe seemed to have become a hell. Even those great emperor families were attacked. Unexpectedly, the dark battle would come again. Chapter 5906. Good boy, you can actually injure me. Black Bat gritted his teeth. Goulet roared angrily and rushed over again. Void lightning. His entire body disappeared. Then, it suddenly appeared and turned into endless lightning bolts that crazily fell. Damn it. The eternal wind turned into heaven and earth. Black Bat also attacked, and a terrifying black storm confronted it. However, he was still beaten miserably. The void lightning was too terrifying. It split his body open, and even his bones were exposed. Damn it. Black Bat was seriously injured and wanted to escape. Goulet roared, and lightning appeared in the void. Then, a terrifying spatial blade appeared in his hand. With the destructive power of lightning, it split the Black Bat in half. Black Bat's soul was destroyed. Was he dead? Everyone was shocked. The people of the Goo family were too powerful. As expected of a great emperor family, they were really strong. The people of the Hidden Emperor Star exclaimed. They were happy. After all, the forbidden land of life was too terrifying. No one wanted the other party to become stronger. As for the people of Mount Eternal, their eyes were red. He was dead. An expert on their side was dead. Unforgivable. Elder, please make a move and kill him. Elder, you must kill him. The black-clothed elder's face also sank. He didn't expect Black Bat to die. You really don't know what death is. He slapped out with his palm. The terrifying palm covered the sky and the earth as it attacked Goulet. Goulet's face changed drastically. He wanted to dodge, but it was useless. In an instant, he was penetrated. At the critical moment, he used the Goo family's great divine ability, Soul Traversal. However, he was still beaten into a bloody mist. Not only that, but this palm also hit the distance. The void expanded, and a spatial gate appeared. The people of the Goo family also changed their faces. From the spatial gate, the experts of the Goo family kept coming out. Goulet, how are you? Damn it, you actually killed him? These people roared crazily. Stop. I'll let you know how powerful I am today. The black-clothed elder attacked again. He punched out. Damn it, attack. The experts of the Goo family roared and attacked one after another. However, they didn't expect this black-clothed elder to be so powerful. The Goo clan's experts were beaten to the point where they vomited blood. A few of them were even directly pierced through, their hearts and souls extinguished. How could he be so powerful? The people of the Goo family went crazy. You're 9-crown king. Damned 9-crown king, you actually came here. The people of the Goo clan were filled with despair. This time, many of them had broken through to the quasi-emperor realm after entering the deity land to cultivate. However, the difference between a quasi-emperor and the 9-crown king was too great. It was like the difference between heaven and earth. They simply could not resist. On the Hidden Emperor Star, the people from the other clans and sects felt their scalps go numb. What? It was actually 9-crown king. It can't be, right? This was the strongest under the Emperor realm. It was over. The Goo family was going to be unlucky this time. No, the Goo family still had the Void Emperor's extreme weapon, which might be able to block it. Sure enough, the Goo clan's clan chief roared and took out the Void Mirror. A mirror appeared, and the might of the extreme Tao spread out in all directions. It swept across the universe. Only then did the Goo family members heave a sigh of relief. Your Mount Eternal has gone too far. That's right. Do you really think that our Goo family is easy to bully? The foundation of a great emperor is not something you can imagine. Foundation? Isn't it just an extreme Tao weapon? It can't do anything to me. The black-clothed elder sneered. He cupped his fists respectfully and said, Supreme weapon, please make your move.
Boom.
In the distance, a black ray of light flew past Mount Eternal and turned into a black sky steel. The aura released from the sky steel was also incomparably terrifying. As soon as it appeared, it attacked the void mirror. The two weapons exploded, and the universe collapsed. Everyone on the Hidden Emperor's star felt their scalps go numb as they looked over in horror. A battle between extreme chaos. What was going on? The Yi family, Kunping clan, and Qilin clan were all stunned. This was the power of the void mirror. Could it be that the Gu family was in danger? These great emperor clans also felt their scalps go numb. The people of the Divine Union also felt it. Should they go and take a look? Bai Susu said, "No need. I've received news that Lin Xian and the others have gone." Had the alliance chief gone? Then it should be fine. They should be able to settle everything. Near Mount Eternal, the void was completely shattered. An extreme Dao attack was incomparably terrifying. The Gu family members' eyes widened. How is this possible? This black sky steel had actually blocked the attack of an extreme Dao weapon. Could it be that this was also an extreme Dao weapon? This is a supreme being weapon. Our supreme being is not weaker than the Void Emperor. Therefore, you can't do anything to me. The black-clothed elder said coldly, "Hand over the Void Battle Robe now. Otherwise, I'll destroy your Gu family." Void Battle Robe? What was that? Countless people were puzzled. Even the ordinary disciples of the Gu family were confused. However, the Gu family leader's expression changed. "You actually know about this? It's useless. Don't even think about it." The Void Battle Robe is the battle robe worn by the Void Emperor of the Gu family. It's the glory of the Gu family. Even if we die, we won't hand it over. If you don't want to hand it over, then die. The black-clothed elder walked out. Without the threat of the Void Mirror, he attacked powerfully. With a punch, he forced the Gu family members to retreat. The Gu family members roared and set up a formation. They entered the spatial world and activated the Void Formation. They blocked the Black Fist. The black-clothed elder also mobilized the power of Mount Eternal. The endless black mountain pressed down. These were two top sections. The battle was terrifying to the extreme. It's useless. This is the Great Emperor's formation. You can't break it at all, the Gu family members said. As soon as they finished speaking, a palm from Mount Eternal slapped over and directly cracked the Gu family's Great Emperor's formation. Impossible? The Great Emperor's formation was shattered by someone. What kind of person was it? The black-clothed elder laughed. Haha, it's our sovereign. Hurry up and hand it over. Otherwise, if you anger the sovereign, he'll slap you to death. He charged over from the crack and instantly tore apart the body of the Gu family's powerhouse. Blood dyed the spatial world red.
No.
The Gu family members went crazy. They were in despair. The other party was like a giant dragon, sweeping across them. They had no way to fight back. Quickly call back the Void Mirror. Let's escape. The Gu family's leader made a decision and quickly called back the Void Mirror. The power of the Void Mirror revolved around them. Where could they go if they wanted to break through the void? The indestructible suppression. The black stone tablet suppressed this world. It's useless. You can't escape at all. Let's see who dares to save you. Since you don't hand over the Void Battle Robe, I'll let the Gu family be completely destroyed. The Gu family members can all go to hell. The black-clothed elder walked over with killing intent. The Gu family members were in despair. The Gu family's leader also said, "Fight to the death." Their bloodlines were burning as if they had merged with the entire world. However, they were still no match for him. Was the Gu family really going to be destroyed from today onwards? The Gu family's leader closed his eyes. Ancestor, I'm unfilial and I can't protect the Gu family. But the Gu family will never surrender.
Fight.
Even if there's only one person left, even if there's only one drop of blood left, we won't surrender. Stupid. How dare you fight against my Mount Eternal? Idiot. The black-clothed elder sneered. Let's see who can save you today. He was ready to kill. At this moment, a voice sounded between heaven and earth. I can save him. Chapter 5907. I can save the Gu family. A loud and clear voice rang out. Everyone was stunned.
Who was it?
At this time, someone was standing up for the Gu family? The spectators were surprised. The Gu family was also stunned. Mount Eternal was indeed angry. Humph, do you want to die? Saving the Gu family is going against Mount Eternal. Even if you have 10 lives, it won't be enough.
I want to see who it is.
The black-clothed elder sneered. In the next moment, everyone saw the sky and earth split open, and a figure walked out. It was Lin Wuti. The people on the hidden Emperor Star cried out in alarm. The people from the Gu family were also stunned. Lin Wuti came to help them? It was too unbelievable. To be honest, their relationship with Lin Wuti was ordinary. They were even enemies before. Why would Lin Wuti save them? Lin Wuti, so it's you. The people of Mount Eternal were also shocked. The black-clothed elder snorted coldly. I'll catch you and bring you back. He stretched out a big hand and grabbed in front of him.
Boom.
Lin Xian punched out. This punch was simple and direct. There was no extra movement. A rumbling sound rang out, and the sky and earth shattered. The black-clothed elder screamed, and his soul was destroyed.
He was dead.
The others of Mount Eternal were stunned. The black-clothed elder, Nine-Crown King, was extremely powerful. Previously, he had suppressed the Gu family until they couldn't raise their heads. But now he was killed with a single punch. Not even a trace of him was left. It was too fast. In just a second, an expert who laughed proudly in the world fell just like that. They couldn't react at all. Was he dead? The Gu family was also stunned. They had used all their strength to perish together with their enemy. Just like that, he was swatted to death by Lin Wuti like a fly. The people of the hidden Emperor Star were shocked. Previously, when they heard that Lin Wuti was chasing after the great emperor, they didn't believe it. Now it seems that it's true. That some like god of war was him. His divine body had already reached the level of great success. Lin Xian killed Nine-Crown King like he was killing an ant. He said, "Too weak. Let your supreme being come out." How dare you? Do you think you can see a supreme being just because you want to? The people of Mount Eternal roared. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with an extremely cold light. It turned into sharp blades that pierced through the heavens and earth. In an instant, the thousands of experts of Mount Eternal were all annihilated. Blood rained down from the sky, but the inextinguishable aura did not bring these people back to life. Are they all dead? Everyone's eyelids twitched. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back. He looked into the distance and said in a low voice, "Immortal supremacy, get out here." Since they wanted to take advantage of the Gu family, they should do it themselves. If you're afraid, come out and kowtow to me 3 times and become my subordinate. I'll let you live. These words were too arrogant. That was the supreme being of Mount Eternal, a supreme existence. Tens of thousands of years ago, he fought in the darkness and swept through the universe. But now Lin Xian was not even in his eyes. Humph. Lin Wuti, are you challenging me? In the distance, endless radiance erupted from Mount Eternal. A powerful force engulfed everything. A dark and tall figure walked out. What a powerful aura. The spectators trembled in fear. They kept retreating. Even the Gu family was facing a great enemy. They hurriedly summoned the void mirror and circled around them.
There was no other way.
This power was too strong. It had completely surpassed the Nine-Crown King. It was almost the same as the great emperor. What kind of existence was the supremacy? Could Lin Wuti withstand it? At this moment, they were all worried for Lin Xian. Although Lin Xian was powerful, the supremacy was still a supreme being. However, supreme beings were incomparably ferocious after all. Furthermore, there had been a dark battle before. That was a character that only the great emperors could suppress. The tall man was like a demon god. He took a step forward, shaking the heavens and the earth. With a few steps, he arrived in the sky. He looked down at Lin Xian. He said, "Young man, I'm really surprised that you can achieve great success in your divine body. However, you're no match for me. Today, it's a grudge between me and the Gu family. I don't want to attack you. Kneel by the side. I'll deal with you after I get the void battle robe. After Lin Xian heard this, he laughed out loud. You really think you're a great emperor? You think you're high and mighty?
Just you?
You want to deal with me? Do you have the ability? Humph. How can you imagine my strength? The immortal supremacy, said coldly. Lin Xian laughed. Others don't know you, but I do. What supremacy? Isn't he just a fake emperor? Without the divine fire and immortal qi, he's just struggling to survive in this world. How big are you?
What?
The supremacy was a great emperor without the divine fire and immortal qi. Countless people were stunned. This was the first time they knew that this was the supremacy secret. The immortal supremacy's pupils constricted. He didn't expect the other party to know this. I've really underestimated you. I didn't expect you to know such a secret. Since that's the case, then I can't let you live. I'll deal with you first, then destroy the Gu family. Deal with me? I'm afraid you don't have the ability. Lin Xian sneered. The divine fire on his body erupted, and the 9-yang divine body spread out. He was like the sun war god. The light was so bright that everyone was shocked. It was as if they were bowing to a god.
Boom.
Lin Xian punched out. Instantly, the sky shattered and the earth cracked. Nothing could stop him. So powerful. Everyone retreated. The people of the Gu family opened a spatial rift and entered it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to resist this power. He was courting death. Unexpectedly, Lin Xian dared to take the initiative to attack. The immortal supremacy was also angry. He slapped out with his palm. There was endless, indestructible power on it. It collided with Lin Xian's fist. An earth-shaking sound was heard, and the immortal supremacy retreated. He was surprised. He didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. Humph. The immortal diagram. The immortal supremacy formed a seal with his palms. A black circle rushed out from his body and swept toward Lin Xian. There was a terrifying power on it that could suppress everything. Not good. After seeing it, the big families all exclaimed in surprise. The legendary immortal diagram. I remember that tens of thousands of years ago, when the darkness was fighting, this thing had once sealed a starry sky, causing countless worlds to disappear. Lin Gongzi, please don't be sealed by this black scroll. Seeing this black scroll, Lin Xian was also surprised. The strength of this immortal supremacy was even stronger than that of the previous spiritual supremacy. But so what? Lin Xian had seen several great emperors' ancient scriptures before, and his strength had also increased compared to before. He roared. Endless light. Terrifying flames rushed out from his body, sweeping in all directions and illuminating the sky. The endless light fought against the pitch-black scroll. 9-yang divine fist. At the same time, he waved his fist, and the power was enough to move mountains and fill the sea. The void around the immortal supremacy kept shattering. He turned into a bolt of lightning and dodged quickly. He didn't take a head-on. However, the law on his palm was getting brighter and brighter.
Stop it.
Suddenly, a surge of energy came from the imperishable painting and froze Lin Xian in place. Then, the diagram enveloped Lin Xian. Chapter 5908. Not good, he was enveloped. The great emperor families, watching the battle, also exclaimed. This way, Lin Xian was in danger. The people of the Gu family also exclaimed, not good, Lin Gongzi is in danger. Let's save him. Lin Xian ignored the danger and came to save them. Naturally, they wouldn't sit idly by. They were ready to use the void mirror to launch an extreme attack. However, the immortal supremacy punched at the Gu family. The people of the Gu family were beaten back. Although they had the protection of the void mirror, they were still injured. The people of Mount Eternal laughed out loud. Did you see that? This is the power of our supremacy. This Lin Wudi can't be compared to us at all. Even the great emperor families can't do it, unless a real great emperor can compete with our supremacy. Just you? Not good enough. Arrogant voices rang out. They were immensely pleased with themselves. Previously, Lin Xian had attacked twice, scaring them silly. Now, such a powerful enemy had finally fallen. How could they not be happy? Could it be that they had really failed? The people of the other great emperor families were also stunned. Is the immortal supremacy so terrifying? Immortal supremacy, you are indeed strong. However, you are too naive to think that you can seal me with a painting. At this moment, Lin Xian's voice came from the immortal road ahead. Lin Xian was still alive. The people of the Gu family exclaimed, and the other spectators were also shocked. The people of Mount Eternal changed their expressions. Impossible. How can you still be alive? The immortal supremacy said, you can't come out. My immortal painting can refine you. He formed a seal with his palm. The immortal Dharma on the immortal painting rolled. However, Lin Xian said, it's useless. You are just a fake emperor. You can't kill me at all. After speaking, endless light from his body shot into the sky. The god of 9 suns. Lin Xian's body grew bigger and turned into a giant. He stood firmly between the heavens and earth and tore the scroll in half. Boom! The sight was simply too shocking. It was as if a god had descended from the heavens. Boundless flames swept across the entire area. It was so scary. They came out. 9 Yang divine body. Is this the great success divine body?
It was too terrifying.
He gave me the same feeling as the great emperor. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air when they saw this. Lin Xian tore the scroll into pieces and threw it into the void. He said, with your strength, it's impossible for you to kill me. The people of Mount Eternal were scared out of their wits. Even Mount Eternal's face was pale. His picture of indestructibility had been torn apart, and he had also sustained some injuries. However, he forcefully suppressed it and did not spit it out. However, he was incomparably shocked. This person's strength was beyond his imagination. From the looks of it, he had to use some tricks. The Taoist robe on his body fluttered, and his sleeves danced, covering the sky and the earth. Black sword Qi rushed out from within. Indestructible sword. It had the power to destroy the heavens and the earth, cutting off the heaven and earth. This supreme divine ability was something that could be destroyed by a single strand of invincible sword Qi during the dark battle. Hundreds of star realms were extremely powerful. The invincible sword Qi's speed was extremely fast. In an instant, it came to Lin Xian's side and slashed down crazily. Lin Xian's fist was like the sun, sweeping in all directions and hitting the sword Qi. A sonorous sound rang out like a clap of thunder. Everyone's ears were bleeding. He had actually blocked such a terrifying sword Qi with his bare hands. The divine body was indeed strong.
Boom.
Lin Xian seemed to have turned into a bolt of lightning. He kept going out, hitting the black sword Qi and shattering it. In the end, he was like a god of war, charging towards immortal supremacy. Immortal supremacy retreated, not fighting him head-on. However, at this moment, Lin Xian turned into a yang mirror and directly attacked. Immortal supremacy, who would have thought that the other party still had this move? In an instant, his body was pierced through, and a bloody hole appeared. Was he injured? Everyone was shocked. Immortal supremacy was actually injured. The people of Mount Eternal also went crazy. They couldn't believe it. Immortal supremacy retreated, his face pale. He looked at his wound and roared towards the sky. The inextinguishable power in his body quickly condensed and healed his wound. Damn brat, you actually dared to injure me. Unforgivable. I'll let you taste the price. Also, I'm an immortal and indestructible existence. I can't be killed. With a furious roar, he charged over with unparalleled power. This time he was really angry. A pitch-black longsword formed in his hand. The inextinguishable power on it kept erupting. He danced, cutting through heaven and earth, and charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian used the power of his divine body to fight against immortal supremacy. They were evenly matched. He was too strong. Lin Wudi could really contend against a supremacy. Countless people were shocked. Some people frowned. It was just a contest. It was impossible to defeat a supremacy, right? As soon as his voice fell, Lin Xian roared. He raised his right hand high, and 9 suns surrounded his arm. They merged into it. At this moment, Lin Xian's right hand was extremely bright. 9 yang palm.
Boom.
With a slap, it directly enveloped half of Immortal Supremacy's body. Half of Immortal Supremacy's body was reduced to ashes. He was seriously injured. The people of Mount Eternal were scared to tears. Had their supreme being been seriously injured? Unbelievable. Immortal Supremacy also roared angrily. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You're no match for me at all. Release your seal and restore your peak strength. Otherwise, you can't compare to me at all. If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Immortal Supremacy didn't expect the other party to be so powerful. He could only release a part of the seal. A black rune condensed all over his body. In the next moment, his hands released the seal.
Boom.
There were black flames dancing on his hands. Immortal Supremacy actually walked the divine path.
Boom.
This pair of palms was much more powerful than before. It was terrifying to the extreme. Lin Xian was forced back. Did you see that, kid? This is my true strength. I've only unlocked a little business, and you can't resist it. What are you going to do next?
What?
The people of the Gu family were in despair. The others also exclaimed, unlocking the seals? Could it be that the current supremacy was the power of the seal? Heavens, this wasn't all of his strength. Was he strong to such an extent? If he went all out, how terrifying would he be? Everyone around started to worry. Lin Xian laughed heartily. The wounds on his body were instantly healed. The light shone even more brightly. He said, Do you dare to unlock all of them? I know all of your secrets. After unlocking them, you won't be able to live for long. Lin Xian roared and activated the Nine-Yang god to fight with him. He was like a god of war as he charged over. He fought against the other party's palms. The two sides exchanged 10 moves, and the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Immortal Supremacy was also shocked. He didn't even kill the other party after unlocking the seal on his hands. It was too detestable. The Heavenly Monument. With an angry roar, the immortal Heavenly Monument appeared in front of him. He grabbed it with both hands and countless strange runes appeared on it. Kid, it's over. He activated his supreme weapon. Chapter 50, 909. The indestructible sky steel rushed over as if it could suppress everything. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He also felt a huge pressure. It must be said that these supreme beings were extremely terrifying. None of them were weaklings to be able to reach this step. However, he was still fearless. Buzz. Lin Xian also stretched out his hands and slowly waved them. There was a black and white aura flickering on them. Then, it turned into a pattern in front of him. Yin-Yang pattern. When the people of the Kunpeng race saw this scene, they exclaimed, Is it their Yin-Yang law? No, it wasn't exactly the same. It was this kid's unique black and white pattern. Lin Xian displayed the Taiji pattern and flew forward. It's useless, kid. No matter what Yin-Yang law you use, it's useless. You're no match for me. The indestructible Supremes were incomparably powerful. He was full of confidence. The sky steel descended and collided with the Yin-Yang Taiji pattern. A rumbling sound erupted, and the Taiji pattern burst out with a bright light. However, the other half formed a vortex. Yin and Yang cooperated with each other and blocked the indestructible sky steel. Lin Xian's lips curled up. The Taiji pattern was originally incomparably mysterious. After reading the ancient scriptures left behind by the Kunpeng Great Emperor, he was inspired. The Taiji pattern was even more terrifying. The Taiji pattern originally had the effect of using four tails to deal with 1,000 caddies. At this moment, Lin Xian displayed the Taiji pattern and directly sent the indestructible sky steel flying. The indestructible Supreme's body swayed, and his qi and blood surged. His eyes were about to pop out. The other party actually sent his supreme weapon flying. Moreover, he only relied on a Taiji pattern. Damn it! How is this possible? He roared angrily, and the aura on his body erupted again. He stretched out his hands, as if he wanted to tear the sky apart. Everyone retreated. Even though they were far away, they still vomited blood. At this moment, the void mirror was also constantly erupting with power, forming many spatial cracks and transmitting this power into the universe. Otherwise, the hidden Emperor Star would be torn apart. The battle erupted again. Everyone was shocked. They had only heard of such a battle in legends. They didn't expect to see it with their own eyes. How were they two people? They were two gods fighting. Each of them had power close to that of a great emperor. The battle between the two was even more terrifying than a battle between extreme weapons. This was because extreme weapons only possessed great power and did not have many divine abilities or laws. However, Lin Xian and the immortal supremacy had too many dazzling mystic powers and nomological laws. It could be said that it was an eye-opener. Boom! Suddenly, the seal on the undying supremacy's eye was lifted, and it turned into black flames that blotted out the sky. Like the flames of hell, it charged towards Lin Xian. This sudden attack was too terrifying. Originally, the two of them were evenly matched. Now that the seal had been undone once more, the might of the imperishable paragon had risen once more. Lin Xian would be in danger. In the face of this attack, Lin Xian roared. He took out the immortal slaying sword and pointed it at the sky.
Chop.
With a furious roar, the immortal slaying sword slashed down, splitting the black flames that filled the sky. Immortal supremacy, don't forget that I don't only have the nine-yang divine body, but I'm also a swordsman. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous, resounding throughout the world. At this moment, sword qi appeared on his divine body, piercing through heaven and earth. The immortal slaying sword in Lin Xian's hand became more and more terrifying. This was a divine sword that was stained with the blood of countless experts. It had an extremely terrifying killing intent. When Lin Xian used his divine power to dance, he could really destroy everything. The immortal supremacy held the heavenly steel in his left hand and the immortal sword in his right. He attacked with both hands and fought with Lin Xian. Lin Xian seemed to have merged with the sword, and his entire body emitted an endless sharpness. His sword qi was even more terrifying than the immortal sword. It's useless. My sword qi can't be destroyed. I'm immortal and indestructible. The shattered sword qi that filled the sky quickly recovered. Every time it was shattered, it recovered at an even faster speed, as if it was truly indestructible. Everyone's scalp went numb. How could they fight like this? Lin Xian sneered. You can't be destroyed, but I can destroy everything. I'll let you see the power of the great dragon sword. On the immortal slaying sword, a dragon sword qi appeared and kept slashing down. The invincible power slashed the black sword qi into smithereens. It couldn't be healed in a short period of time. Lin Xian held the immortal slaying sword in his right hand and kept striking out heaven-defying sword techniques. His left hand merged with the 9 suns and slapped over. The 9 suns seemed to have turned into a divine sun diagram that also enveloped over. Watch how I suppress you. Previously, the immortal supremacy wanted to use the immortal diagram to suppress Lin Xian. Now Lin Xian was giving him a taste of his own medicine. The 9 suns landed on the undying paragon's body, causing his body to sway. Damn it, you dare to suppress me? He was mad with anger. What kind of existence was he? He was high and mighty. Even time couldn't suppress him. He had lived for countless years. How could he be suppressed by a young junior now?
Get lost.
He summoned back the immortal steel and swung it out with force. The heavenly steel was like a giant axe, slamming hard on the 9-yang palm. It blocked the 9-yang palm. However, the crisis was not over. Lin Xian was too strong. Lin Xian's physique was not weaker than his. Lin Xian's sword was also incomparably terrifying. Moreover, this was an invincible sword qi, an indestructible aura on his body.
Puff.
The immortal sword slashed on Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian's immortal slaying sword also slashed on the immortal supremacy. Both of them were injured at the same time and flew backward. Wounds appeared on their bodies, and blood flowed out. Lin Xian stood up and circulated his power to repair it. It didn't take long for the indestructible power to be destroyed by him. On the other side, the immortal supremacy's expression was ugly. The invincible power was crazily tearing open his wounds. I am indestructible. He circulated the indestructible mantra and spent a lot of energy to release this indestructible aura. Why do I feel that the immortal supremacy is at a disadvantage? He didn't need to feel it to know that Lin Wuti was suppressing the immortal supremacy. Countless voices of discussion rang out. The people of the immortal clan were crazy. Was their supremacy being suppressed? Lin Xian said, "It's useless. You are no match for me at all. You should know about the spiritual sovereign, right? I chased him away in the heavens lands. So, you're no exception." After the immortal supremacy heard this, his pupils shrank. No wonder. I asked him who attacked him, but he didn't say anything. I thought it was someone from the other world. I didn't expect it to be you. It seems that when you were in the heavenly land, you broke through and became a great success, divine body. However, your path ends here. I will let you see my trump card. This move was originally prepared to be used against the great emperors. I didn't expect to use it on you. You should be proud to be able to die under this move. The immortal supremacy stood in the void with a grave expression on his face. The indestructible aura on his body quickly disappeared, as if it had all entered his body. Chapter 59:10. An extremely terrifying aura erupted from the immortal supremacy. You can't withstand this move at all. His palm met the seal and struck out with a powerful attack. Xiantian Qi. Indestructible slash. A terrifying black storm condensed on his body. Then he spat out a breath. When this breath appeared, the entire world shattered. It couldn't withstand this power at all. What was that? The faces of the spectators changed drastically. The people from the Emperor clan were also terrified. They felt a chill down their spines. Even Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air. He also felt a fatal crisis. This guy actually had such a trump card? Kid, it's useless. This is the Xiantian Qi that I've been cultivating in my body for tens of thousands of years. Let's see how you can resist it.
Boom.
As soon as he said that, the black Xiantian Qi flew out and attacked Lin Xian. Its terrifying power swept through everything. Lin Xian roared. He used his divine body to the extreme and resisted with all his might. He waved the god's slaying sword in his hand and slashed fiercely. The two collided and exploded with a roar. The Xiantian Qi indestructible slash was a terrifying black stream of air. When it came into contact with the god's slaying sword, it completely erupted. Although part of it was blocked by the god's slaying sword, the rest still enveloped Lin Xian. That place completely turned into a black hole and disappeared. Was he dead? Lin Wuti had fallen. It was a pity that such a top genius had finally fallen. He had no choice. He had been too arrogant. He shouldn't have offended the immortal supremacy. This was the supreme existence that had caused the Dark War back then. How could he be defeated by a young man? Countless sighs could be heard. The people of the Divine Union also went crazy. Could it be that their alliance leader had fallen? No, look, someone rushed out. They saw a black figure in front of them retreating quickly.
Puffed.
Lin Xian was unable to withstand the attacks and was forced to retreat continuously. Many wounds had appeared on his body, and blood was flowing out from those wounds. He was injured. Lin Wuti was injured. When the people of Mount Eternal saw this scene, they cried out in surprise. They were happy. Our supreme martial artist has won. Lin Wuti, admit defeat. The imperishable sovereign opened and closed his eyes, exuding an unparalleled pressure. He was like a high and mighty god who controlled everything. You're actually able to injure my great success, divine body. You're truly powerful. As expected of a supernatural ability that had been nurtured in his body for tens of thousands of years. However, this kind of ability is not enough to make me admit defeat. The god flame in Lin Xian's forehead flickered as the terrifying light of the sun burst out from his body. When these flames appeared, the world turned into a sea of fire. Countless mysterious flames circled in the air, as if it had turned into a world of flames. Heavens, is this a divine fire? Countless people looked up at the sky and exclaimed. Although Lin Xian had not become a great emperor and did not have a true divine flame, he was still a great emperor. However, the flames were truly too terrifying. Lin Xian stood in the middle of the sea of fire, and a terrifying sword Qi dragon shadow appeared on his body. He kept waving his hand, and the sword Qi seemed to have come to life, bursting with an extremely sharp aura. Then, the flames began to move. They turned into terrifying dragon silhouettes one after another. Like fire dragons, they swept through the world. In the end, the heads of these fire dragons contained the sun. 9 fire dragons contained pearls, and 9 suns circled around Lin Xian. This scene was extremely terrifying.
Kill.
Lin Xian's body was stained with blood. He threw out a punch, and one of the dragons flew out with the sun in its mouth. Between heaven and earth, a bolt of lightning struck one after another. Then, it was as if the world was being split apart. This power? The immortal supremacy was stunned. What kind of power is this? It was too powerful. He quickly tried to block the attack, but he was sent flying by the impact. He felt as if he had been struck by lightning. The terrifying flames and sharp aura tore his body apart. He spat out a mouthful of blood and crashed into a distant mountain peak. His body swayed.
Boom.
Lin Xian punched twice more, and 2 fire dragons rushed over again with the sun in their mouths. Everyone went crazy. What kind of power was this? This was the power of the fusion of the 9-yang divine body and the great dragon sword soul. It was extremely powerful. After 2 punches, the imperishable sovereign's arm was broken. Lin Xian waved again. Then his legs, shoulders, and body were all pierced. The indestructible sovereign was smashed into pieces. Defeated, the imperishable sovereign was completely defeated, and he was severely injured. Countless people were dumbfounded. The people of Mount Eternal were even more terrified. This was too powerful. Impossible? The imperishable sovereign would not be defeated. They shook their heads frantically. Now they knew who was strong and who was weak, right? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Stepping on the divine fire, he was extremely powerful. His gaze carried a sharp glint. The imperishable sovereign screamed in the air. Countless blood mists, with him as the center, spread in all directions. The entire universe couldn't withstand it. He let out a miserable roar. Damn it, this is too despicable. I won't let you off. Do you think I will let you off? Lin Xian flicked his finger, and sword energy soared into the sky. An extremely terrifying light appeared in his eyes.
Slash.
The immortal slaying sword slashed down again.
Ah.
The imperishable sovereign screamed, and hurriedly activated his supreme weapon to block. The divine steel enlarged in the air and blocked the sword energy. However, it was still beaten until it kept rolling. Lin Xian took out the heaven-swallowing jar again. Swallow for me? The black vortex swallowed the heavens and the earth, wanting to swallow the imperishable sovereign. The imperishable sovereign had completely gone crazy. He was forced into a desperate situation by Lin Xian. Was the imperishable sovereign going to die? Countless people were shocked, but the imperishable sovereign roared, "Brat, I will let you die without a burial place. You asked for it." With a boom, countless black runes jumped on his body, turning into black flames and disappearing. Then, a powerful force erupted and swept in all directions. Feeling this power, countless people were sent flying. What was this? This power was too terrifying. This was the power of a great emperor. They saw that the broken body began to recover. Then, a ball of black flames enveloped the imperishable sovereign's body. The flames were extremely powerful, even surpassing the 9 suns' divine fire. This was a true divine fire, a power that only a great emperor could possess. The people of the Yi family exclaimed. The people of the Gu family also felt their scalps go numb. The imperishable sovereign had become a great emperor? Had he broken through? They were all stunned. Lin Xian's pupils also shrank. You have broken all the seals. You are really crazy. He knew that after the other party broke the seals, he only had 1,000 years to live. If he could become an immortal within 1,000 years, he would be able to continue living. If not, he would be reduced to ashes and could never be resurrected. 1,000 years was very long in the eyes of ordinary people, but for a great emperor it was already very short. It seemed that the imperishable sovereign was really at his wit's end. The power of the peak had finally returned. The imperishable sovereign roared into the sky, the black divine fire on his body sweeping through the 9 heavens. In the next moment, he lowered his head and stared at Lin Xian, viciousness in his eyes. Brat, are you ready to despair? I won't let you go. Chapter 59:11. Immortal Supreme. No, he should be the immortal great emperor. At this moment, he had already recovered to his peak state, from a supreme to a great emperor. He stood between heaven and earth, his powerful strength able to suppress everything. With a palm strike, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Countless black flames danced and dashed forward. Lin Xian waved the immortal slaying sword to block. The two collided, and he was forced back. The power of a true great emperor, a complete great emperor, was too strong. Lin Xian called back the heaven-swallowing jar and surrounded him. He was facing a great enemy. It's useless, kid. You can't compete with me at my peak. Today is the day you die. The immortal supreme walked towards Lin Xian with a cold expression. Boundless black flames danced beneath his feet, forming a cage that was enough to suppress everything. Nothing could escape in front of him. Not good, Lin Gongzi was in danger. A true great emperor was too terrifying. The people of the Yi family exclaimed. The people of the Phoenix clan and the Qilin clan also had solemn expressions. Lin Xian's expression was even colder. A true great emperor? I'll experience it. Facing the immortal great emperor, Lin Xian was still not afraid. Instead, he took a step forward. A strong fighting spirit erupted from his body. The great dragon's sword soul roared and rose steadily, as if a true dragon had awakened. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws, tearing the 9 heavens apart. At this critical moment, there was a buzzing sound. A whistling sound came from the space world of the Gu family. The people of the Gu family were stunned. What happened? Everyone was stunned, and turned their heads to look. In the depths of the Gu family, endless laws filled the air. Then, a battle armor flew out. This battle armor kept shuttling, and in an instant, it appeared in front of everyone. What was this? The Gu family's patriarch exclaimed, "Void battle armor." They were stunned. Even the immortal supreme turned his head abruptly, his eyes erupting with an intense light. Space battle armor? I'll take you in. He stretched out his big hand and grabbed in front of him. This time his goal was the space battle armor. Although it wasn't an extreme weapon, it was still extremely powerful. However, it was the armor worn by the Void Emperor. It was very mysterious and had the power to travel through space. If he could obtain it, he would become even stronger and safer in the high heavens. Thus, he had to obtain the Void battle armor. Merciless nomological laws erupted from the Void battle armor, causing the surrounding void to seem like it was as far away as the horizon. It looked very close, but it was actually separated by an endless universe. For a moment, the Black Hand was unable to grab hold of the armor. At the same time, the seal of the void rumbled and rose into the air. It left the Gu family and came to the side of the void armor. In the next instant, it entered the void battle armor and fused with it. What was going on? Countless people were stunned. The members of the Gu family were also stunned. They didn't know about this either. Suddenly, a cold voice was heard from the void armor. Immortal supremacy. Do you still want to start a dark battles?
Chop.
His voice was extremely loud and clear, like the roar of a deity. The pupils of the Gu family's people shrank. This was the voice of the ancestor. The members of the Yi family exclaimed. The Void Emperor left behind a trick in the Void Lands. The members of the Phoenix clan were also surprised. It seemed that the immortal supremacy had been suppressed by the Void Emperor back then. There had been an earth-shattering battle between the two sides. In the end, the Void Emperor had won. Void, you're already dead. How dare you be arrogant in front of me? The immortal supremacy roared crazily. His eyes were filled with terrifying killing intent. He no longer paid attention to Lin Xian. Instead, he turned around and faced the void battle armor with all his might. You want to deal with me with just a soul imprint? You're too naive. It's time for me to take revenge for what happened back then. I'll take your void battle armor and destroy your bloodline. I'll make the Gu family disappear forever. The cold voice made the members of the Gu family despair. Their hearts were in their mouths. The immortal supremacy roared and waved the sky steel, attacking fiercely. This was an attack from a great emperor. It was extremely powerful. Lin Xian's expression changed. He wanted to intervene, but it was already too late. However, at this moment, a cold snort came from the void battle armor in front of him. It was the void blade. The void mirror bloomed in the Zhan family. The power of the extreme Dao enveloped the void battle armor. The void battle armor waved and shot out a void blade. This space blade tore through the void. It was even more terrifying than an all-around extreme Dao attack. In the next instant, the void was mercilessly torn apart. An invisible light blade slashed towards the immortal supremacy. The immortal supremacy's expression changed. He roared and fought with all his might. With a boom, he was struck. His body was torn apart by an extremely powerful force. Blood dyed the sky red. The immortal supremacy roared and shattered the void blade. Void, you're dead, but you can still hurt me. I admire you. However, your descendants are in trouble. I'll make them wish they were dead, said a cold voice. The immortal sovereign flew forward, covered in blood.
No.
The members of the Gu family despaired. It would be difficult for them to die if they were targeted by a great emperor. However, at this moment, the void battle armor said coldly, Void burial.
Boom.
As soon as this voice was heard, the heavens fell and the earth cracked. The immortal supremacy seemed to have recalled a terrifying memory. He roared crazily. How can you use this move? He turned and fled. At this moment, he didn't care about Lin Xian or the Gu family. He wanted to escape. This was because he had seen this move before. Back then, he had launched a dark war and swept across the universe. In the end, a great emperor had appeared during that period. It was the Void Emperor. He fought with the Void Emperor. In the end, he was severely injured by the Void Emperor's move. He had almost died. That move was called the Void Burial. It was a move that could bury a great emperor. Back then, the Void Emperor had been injured after using it. Now that the Void Emperor was no longer around, how could he still use this move? He had gone crazy. Everyone was also frightened. However, they realized that this move wasn't targeted at them. It was only targeted at the immortal supremacy. This was the move of a great emperor. The attack was very precise. As long as the great emperor was willing, it wouldn't affect anyone. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He felt a chill run down his spine. This move also brought about a great threat to his life. In the void, the power of space exploded, forming a black hole that spread rapidly. The black hole crushed everything in its path. This was the Great Void Burial. It could bury a great emperor. The immortal supremacy fled crazily. However, under the power of space, he couldn't escape at all. Therefore, he was enveloped. He could only resist with all his strength. I am undying and indestructible. An indestructible aura surged from his body. His entire person seemed to have turned into an indestructible god.
Boom.
In the next instant, he was swallowed up. A destructive force swept out. Everyone retreated in horror. The place turned into an eternal black hole that kept shattering. Not long after, a scream was heard. Chapter 59:12. Old Man Void, just you wait. I won't let the Goo family off. A mournful voice sounded. Everyone suddenly raised their heads. Lin Xian also used his Rinnegan to look. He saw a ball of black flames surrounding a black heart and quickly throwing it into the distance. There was an indestructible aura on it. That was the immortal supremacy. He was really stunned. The immortal supremacy had already recovered to a great emperor. His battle strength was incomparably powerful, making him feel as if he was facing a great enemy. But now he was actually seriously injured by a single move. Even the great emperor's body was shattered, leaving only the divine fire and heart. One could imagine how injured the other party was. A void ultimate move? This was the Void Emperor's divine ability. The Void Emperor didn't appear. He only used the method left behind to injure the immortal supremacy. It was really unbelievable. Between heaven and earth, the shattered void slowly recovered. The void armor and the void mirror separated again and returned to the Goo family. The Void Emperor's voice disappeared. Ancestor. Great Emperor. The people of the Goo family all knelt on the ground, their eyes red. Now, in this era of immortal ascension, their Goo family seemed to be powerless. There were no great emperors, nor were there any emperor-level figures. There were only extreme weapons and great emperor's ancient scriptures. However, these became the things that everyone was jealous of, especially Higan. It probably wouldn't be long before he attacked them. Even this time, if Lin Xian and the Void Armor didn't make a move one after another, they would have been destroyed long ago. Great Emperor, if only you were still alive. The people of the Goo family passed. They hoped so much that the Void Emperor would appear. The other spectators also sighed. Some people were puzzled. Won't the Void Emperor appear? I heard that the great emperors from tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years ago have awakened from their slumber. The Void Emperor was so powerful. Didn't he awaken? This wasn't just one person's doubt. This was everyone's doubt. Even Lin Xian was very curious. The people of the other great emperor families also sighed. I don't know. The Goo family's patriarch shook his head. Their great emperor families had existed until now. It could be said that tens of thousands of people respected them. However, up until now, none of their great emperors had appeared. As for the other great emperor clans that hadn't been passed down, the ancient great emperors had awakened. It had to be said that this was really a strange thing. Even Lin Xian frowned. Yes, the emperors of the Goo family, the Yi family, the Phoenix clan, the Kailan clan, and the Kuanping clan. Not a single person appeared. Could it be that there was a special reason? Thinking of this, Lin Xian's figure flashed and descended. He asked, does the Goo family not know anything about the Void Monarch? Greetings to Lin Gongzi. The Goo family members turned around and looked at Lin Xian before bowing respectfully. Thank you, Lin Gongzi, for saving me earlier. As for the Void Emperor, we really don't know. Back then, the Patriarch had encountered a dark battle. Apart from the imperishable Paragon, there were other forbidden lands that had taken action as well. Back then, the Patriarch had single-handedly suppressed the dark forces in the battle. However, he had also been injured. Moreover, he seemed to have been seriously injured. Later, the Patriarch founded the Goo family and then left. It seemed that he had gone to the starry sky of the universe. After that, there was no news of him. In the end, it seemed that only the Void Mirror, the Void Armor, and the Void Ancient Scripture had returned. As for the Patriarch, his whereabouts were unknown. As for the Patriarch's son and daughter, who were the princes and princesses, They didn't enter the nerve seal back then because the patriarch was afraid that these paragons would appear again. So that was the case. After Lin Xian heard this, he was also very emotional. This was the guardian of the human race. Without the Void Monarch, the universe back then would have been destroyed by the people of the Forbidden Lands. Now, it might have turned into dust. After all, these paragons didn't care about this universe at all. What they cared about was the Jotian Shitty. Well, I still have something to discuss with you, Lin Xian said. The Gu family members were stunned when they heard this. What is it? They invited Lin Xian in. As for the others, they all left one after another. This news once again spread throughout the heavens and the realms. Countless people were shocked. The battle between Lin Xian and the immortal Venerable had become a legend. And the Gu family's void unique technique shocked people again. Even the martial monarch clans and forbidden grounds were terrified. The void burial, a unique technique that was enough to bury a great emperor. The Gu family's space world didn't suffer much of an impact here. After all, the previous battles were all outside. It was still a paradise on Earth inside. After entering a hall, the Gu family's patriarch asked, "I wonder what Lin Gongzi wants." Previously, they were very nervous. After all, they had a grudge against Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian saved them. This meant that the other party wasn't here for revenge. Then what was the matter? Lin Gongzi, we have been against you before. We are here to apologize to you. The Gu family's patriarch and the elders all stood up and deeply apologized. Lin Xian said, "What happened in the past is in the past. Moreover, our battle was a battle of the Great Tao. Some grudges should be written off." After knowing that the Void Emperor had done so much for the human race, Lin Xian couldn't bear to hate the Gu family. Moreover, Lin Xian had killed many of the Gu family's experts before. His anger had long since dissipated. He had even killed the Gu family's descendant. Thinking of this, Lin Xian felt a little embarrassed. It seemed that he had to find another descendant for the Gu family. Thinking of this, he said, "I came here this time for two things. The first thing is that the Gu family now lacks a top genius who can lead you to rise." When he said this, the Gu family's people sighed. Many of them even had strange expressions. Their Gu family's descendant had been killed by Lin Wudi. But now, they didn't dare to say anything. Lin Wudi said, "Although your Gu family's top genius has fallen, I still know of one person."
Who was it?
The Gu family's people were all stunned. Lin Xian said, "Previously, when I was in the true spirit world, I became friends with a genius of the Gu family. However, because of some things, he didn't stand out in front of everyone. His name was Gu Santong." Hearing this, the Gu family's elders were all excited. To be recognized by Lin Wudi, one's talent was definitely not ordinary. Moreover, he was Lin Wudi's friend. This way, they could still get Lin Xian's help. Therefore, the Gu family's patriarch immediately asked, "Where is this Gu family's disciple?" "In the second star field, a star realm. Back then, I arranged for him to go there. But where is he now? I don't know either. However, we can go to the second star field to take a look." "All right, then we'll immediately send people to the second star field to look for him. Sir, can you give us a portrait of Gu Santong?" Lin Xian nodded. With a wave of his hand, he drew out a portrait of Gu Santong from his memory using nomological laws and handed it to the patriarch. Then he said, "If I have time, I'll go with you." "Thank you very much, Lin Gongzi." The Gu family's people were grateful. "Sir, what is the second thing?" The Gu family's people asked again. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Then he said in a low voice, "The second thing. I want to borrow the ancient void scripture to take a look." Chapter 59:13. Borrow the void ancient scripture. When these words came out, the Gu family members all sucked in a breath of cold air. They didn't expect Lin Xian to have such a purpose. They hesitated. After all, this was a serious matter. Lin Xian said, "I won't let you lose out. I'll also let you see a great emperor's ancient scripture. Demon Emperor Scripture, Green Emperor Scripture, or Phoenix Ancient Scripture. What a generous offer. The Gu family was shocked. The Gu family leader walked out and said, Lin Gongzi, the Gu family is indebted to you. Of course, we won't refuse. However, our void ancient scripture is a little special. What did he mean by special? Lin Xian was confused. The Gu family elder said, our void ancient scripture is engraved on the void battle robe. If you want to see the scripture, you must be recognized by the void battle robe. Otherwise, even if we agree, we can't do anything about it. How could there be such a thing? Lin Xian was shocked.
He had just seen the void battle robe.
It was very powerful. It turned out that there was a void ancient scripture hidden inside. He took a deep breath and nodded. Okay, take me to see the void battle robe. Lin Gongzi, this way please. The Gu family leader led the way. The group walked outside. This space world was very big. After leaving the main hall, they flew all the way. Finally, they stopped at a mountain peak in front of them. This mountain peak was extremely terrifying. There was a battle robe on the mountain peak. It was the void battle robe. When Lin Xian saw the void battle robe again, he took a deep breath. Even though he had a great perfection divine body, it was still too weak. Even though he had a body deity body, he still felt a chill down his spine. He had to admit that this battle robe was really extraordinary. Lin Gongzi, please. Lin Xian rose into the air and flew towards the mountain peak. He came before the void battle robe and saluted it with both hands. Junior Lin Xian greets Senior. Although it was just a battle robe, Lin Xian knew that it belonged to the Void Emperor. Furthermore, it contained a trace of the Void Emperor's soul imprint. The Void Monarch wasn't just a martial monarch. He was an existence that suppressed the darkness. It could be said that he was admired by many. Senior, I would like to take a look at the ancient Void scripture. At the same time, I will give the Gu clan another great emperor's ancient scripture as a fair exchange. I wonder if Senior can agree? After Lin Xian finished speaking, he waited quietly. His gaze was incomparably deep. However, there was still a sense of apprehension in his heart. Below, the people from the Gu family were even more nervous. This matter could only be decided by the void robe. They could only watch from the side. After a while, the atmosphere became eerily quiet. The people of the Gu family sighed. Looks like we failed. All of a sudden, the heavenly void battle robe began to tremble as the power of the void began to surge from it. Then a voice came, "You have the 9 yang divine bodies?" That's right. Not only do I have the 9 yang divine body, I'm also the successor of the great dragon. I'm from the God realm. Currently, I'm fighting against the Nirvana realm. I can let you see the ancient void scripture. I hope that you can protect the Gu clan at critical moments in the future. Senior, don't worry. I'll help the Gu clan.
Boom.
The heavenly void battle robe soared into the sky, erupting with endless power. Between heaven and earth, thunder flashed. The originally clear sky was now like a heavenly tribulation. The people of the Gu clan looked up at the sky with shock. They saw that the heavenly void battle robe had actually fallen on Lin Xian's body. Did he agree? The patriarch of the Gu clan was shocked. He didn't expect that Lin Xian would be recognized by the ancestor. Lin Xian's body also trembled. Wearing the heavenly void battle robe, Lin Xian seemed to have merged with the whole world. It seemed that with a thought, he could reach the universe and go to any corner of the myriad worlds. Spatial magic was indeed terrifying. In the next moment, Lin Xian felt that the world seemed to be spinning as a magical power enveloped him. Was this the ancient void scripture? He had to wear the heavenly void battle robe to see it. Lin Xian was too surprised. He hurriedly concentrated and carefully read the ancient void scripture. Half a month later, Lin Xian opened his eyes. The heavenly void battle robe left his body and returned to the mountain peak. Thank you, Senior. Lin Xian bowed, then turned and left the mountain peak, landing on the ground. Congratulations, Lin Gongzi. The patriarch of the Gu clan came to congratulate him. Lin Xian waved his hand, and a cloud of black demonic energy appeared. He said, I can show you the Demon Emperor's ancient scripture.
Good.
The people of the Gu clan were also excited. They had seen Lin Xian use the Demon Emperor's ancient scripture before, and it was extremely terrifying. If they could watch it, they would benefit immensely. Lin Xian sent the Demon Emperor's ancient scripture out for these people to see. Then, he sat aside and continued to cultivate. Reading the ancient scripture didn't necessarily mean that one would learn the supernatural powers and immortal spells in the ancient scripture, but it could allow one to have a deeper understanding of the Great Tao. For example, Lin Xian's understanding of the spatial laws had reached a new level. As a result, his other Great Tao mystiques and immortal spells seemed to have become stronger. Another half a month passed, and the people of the Gu clan were also delighted. The demonic energy in the sky slowly disappeared. The patriarch of the Gu clan brought a group of elders over to discuss with Lin Xian some of the issues in the ancient scripture. They were also very emotional. The patriarch of the Gu clan said, Lin Gongzi, is the Gu Santong you mentioned really in the second stellar domain? We plan to go. The Gu clan was now lacking a top genius. They had to quickly cultivate one. Lin Xian nodded. He said, rest for a few days. I'll go with you. The Gu clan returned, and Lin Xian returned to the real world to meet up with Morong Qingcheng and the others. The next few days were peaceful. But on this day, Morong Qingcheng suddenly stood up. Yan Ryu was also surprised. What happened? Lin Xian asked. Morong Qingcheng and Yan Ryu said, our bloodline seems to be calling. At the same time, quasi-emperors from the Phoenix clan and the Demon Emperor Mountain came. They were coming to pick up Morong Qingcheng and Yan Ryu. Lin Xian walked out and asked them what happened. The two quasi-emperors said, there seems to be some changes in the clan. It should be related to their great emperor. So, Morong Qingcheng and Yan Ryu were asked to go back. Brother Xian, we'll go back first. Morong Qingcheng and Yan Ryu were ready to go back to the clan. Lin Xian nodded. Okay, be careful. He waved his hand and said goodbye to them. At this time, the Hellfire Dragon also walked out and said, I have to go back to Divine Dragon City. I think the Great Emperor seems to have some tricks to use. Dragon Emperor, don't wake up now. Divine Dragon City is very dangerous, without anyone watching. Okay, I'll be relieved if you go back. The Hellfire Dragon also rose into the air. The Toad and the Crimson Dragon stayed by his side. Little White was carefree. It stared with its big black gem-like eyes and looked around. It was fine. It ate some spiritual fruits and spiritual herbs. The days were very carefree. Just like that, 3 days later, the Gu clan's patriarch came again. Lin Gongzi, let's go. Lin Xian nodded. The group of people walked into the spatial door. The Gu clan's void laws were extremely powerful. They directly built the space door and went to the second star region. Chapter 59:14. A black steel streaked across the vast universe. A figure in a black robe sat on the steel. His face was extremely pale. It was the Immortal Supremacy. But now, he should be called the Immortal Supremacy because he had broken the seal and recovered his divine fire. He could no longer go back. Damn it, only 1,000 years left? I have to recover my strength first, then find a way to become an immortal. Go to the heavenly land. His eyes shone with a piercing light. Damn it, how dare you injure me so badly? I won't forgive you, old man. The Immortal Supremacy's expression was ugly. He had absorbed 100 worlds' power, but he had only recovered a little. He gritted his teeth and absorbed another 500 worlds' power. Next, he had to go to the deity ground to recover as soon as possible. Thinking of this, he sped up. The black steel kept shuttling back and forth, tearing the void apart. However, at this moment, a figure appeared in front of him. It was also a black figure with his back facing him. Get out of my way. The Immortal Supremacy sneered. Who is it? Who dares to block my way? Riding on the black sky steel, Lin Fan charged over, crushing such an ant into dust. At this moment, The black figure in front of him turned around, and a terrifying light shone in his eyes. Then he threw a punch. The black fist pierced through heaven and earth and collided with the steel. There was an earth-shattering sound, and the steel was knocked back. The immortal supremacy was also knocked back. His face was full of horror. "Who are you?" He was too shocked. Although he was injured, he was still a supremacy. No one below the supremacy level was a match for him. But now, someone had sent him flying with a punch. Was this person a supremacy? The figure in front of him turned around completely. It was also a black figure with a monstrous, demonic aura. It was completely different from the immortal supremacy's aura. What a terrifying demonic aura. "Are you the Demon Emperor?" The immortal supremacy's pupils shrank. "That's right, you still remember me. That's good. Hand over the immortal heart, and I'll spare your life. Don't go too far, Demon Emperor. I'm not a supremacy now. I've recovered to my peak. I'm a supremacy. How dare you threaten me?" The immortal emperor roared madly. The undying heart was his heart. How could he be willing to give his heart to someone else? Even ordinary people wouldn't be willing to do so, let alone an emperor like him. Stupid thing, even great emperors had differences in strength. The demon emperor charged over. The demon god fist came crashing down. The immortal heavenly emperor was furious. "Damn it, how dare you look down on me?" He quickly made his move. The two martial monarchs clashed with one another. Their power swept out in all directions. The world around him continued to shatter. However, after 3 punches, the undying utmost exalted's body was pierced through. "You are too weak." The demon emperor sneered. With a wave of his hand, a gigantic hand grabbed at the shattered body. There was a black heart beating nonstop inside. That was the undying heart. "No, you dare?" The immortal emperor roared madly, trying his best to protect the undying heart. However, he was still taken away. In the next moment, it was as if his strength had been sucked away, and he became much weaker. "Damn it, I'm injured. If I hadn't been buried in the void, how could I have been defeated so easily?" The demon emperor sneered. He grabbed the undying heart and glanced at the immortal emperor. "Even if you were at your peak, you would still be no match for me. Besides, do you think I'm at my peak now? I've only just recovered, and I'm still weak. That's why you were never my match." With that, the demon emperor turned and left. His target was the undying heart. "Do you dare take it away? Don't forget who is behind me. I'm from the Supreme Palace." The demon emperor stopped and turned his head, his eyes flashing. "Haha, are you scared now?" The immortal emperor sneered. "I know you're crazy, but no matter how crazy you are, you should still be afraid of the Supreme Palace. Do you know what kind of existence they are? Now, obediently return the undying heart."
Boom.
The demon emperor didn't say anything. He slapped the immortal emperor and sent him flying. The immortal emperor's face was swollen. He was so angry that he vomited blood. The demon emperor sneered. "You think you can threaten me? So, what if you're from the Supreme Palace? It's not like I haven't killed you Supremes before. If you don't like it, ask your Supreme Palace to come find me." With that, the demon emperor's body swayed and disappeared with the undying heart. Only the immortal emperor was left, roaring crazily. The battle here shocked everyone in the universe. The power of the great emperors was something they looked up to. But soon, this power disappeared. The others didn't pay attention to it. After all, more and more great emperors appeared after the deity ground descended. There were even battles between great emperors from time to time. So, they were getting used to it. Needless to say, it was a battle between 2 great emperors. But they didn't know who won and who lost. At this moment, in the vast universe, there was a star field called the second star field. There were also countless worlds of stars here. In the second star field, there was a purple planet. It was called the Purple Spirit World. At this moment, there was a piece of news in the Purple Spirit World. Have you heard? The Shueyuan family went to propose marriage. That's a top family in our world. I wonder which family is so lucky to marry into the Shueyuan family. Of course, It was Fairy Yenran of the Santong Mansion. So it's her. She's the most beautiful woman in our world. Only she is worthy of being the #1 genius of the Shueyuan family. Countless envious voices were heard. The Santong Mansion. It was vast and magnificent. It was also a top family. At this moment, the Santong Mansion was also very lively. Countless waterfalls fell from the sky. There were many people standing on these waterfalls. These people were wearing blue armor and had extraordinary auras. Standing at the front were two figures. One was a middle-aged man, and the other was a young man. The young man was very handsome. His eyes were bright, and there was a proud smile on his face. The group was slowly descending. The people of the Santong Mansion also looked serious. They hurriedly invited them in. "Brother Santong, greetings." The middle-aged man in the lead greeted them with a smile. In the main hall in front of them, a group of people also walked in. The leader was also a middle-aged man. His face was weathered, and there was even white hair at his temples. Behind him was a group of strong cultivators. Beside them was a woman in her 20s. She was very beautiful. She was the #1 beauty of the purple spirit world, Gu Yenran. "So, you're from the Shueyuan family. Please come in." Gu Santong nodded slightly and invited them to the main hall. After they were seated, the middle-aged man, Shueyuan Ba, smiled and said, "Brother Santong, I'll get straight to the point. This time, we're here to propose marriage." At this, the people of the Santong Mansion all frowned. Gu Santong also raised his eyebrows. "I don't want to." Gu Yenran immediately shook her head and refused. "Yenran, don't be rude," Gu Santong scolded. "Don't worry, we won't blame Fairy Yenran." Shueyuan Ba smiled. He continued, "The #1 genius of the Shueyuan family, Shueyuan Hao, has a bright future. Moreover, he has been chosen by a strong cultivator in the deity land to be taken in as a disciple. I think he's worthy of Fairy Yenran, right?" Chapter 59:15. He was more than worthy of her. Gu Santong said, "My nephew Shueyuan is now one of the top geniuses in the world. His future is limitless. I'm afraid my daughter is not worthy of him. In my opinion, the only ones who are worthy of him are those from the celestial land, the true heaven's chosen daughters. Therefore, fellow Taoist water abyss, I think it would be best for the two of you to have a proper discussion." Hearing this, Gu Yenran quietly breathed a sigh of relief. Shueyuan Hao stood up and said, "I've been in love with Yenran for a long time. I'll marry no one but her." He extended a finger and said, "I'll come to marry Yenran in a month. Uncle, this is the betrothal gift." Then, he waved his hand and countless treasures flew out of his storage ring. They piled up into a mountain. "My nephew Shueyuan, I've made myself clear. My daughter doesn't want to marry you. Don't you understand?" Gu Santong's face darkened. Gu Yenran said, "Give up. I will never marry you in this life." Of course, she didn't like this guy. That guy had a terrible reputation. It was unknown how many geniuses had died in his hands. If she married him, she would suffer a fate worse than death. How could Gu Yenran agree? However, Shueyuan Hao said, "You don't agree? That's not up to you. In a month, either you marry me obediently, or we'll send troops to Santong Mansion and flatten you." Then, he waved his sleeve and left. The powerhouses of Santong Mansion were infuriated. "Arrogant. He's too arrogant. Does he really think we don't exist? Aya, my nephew is really spoiled by his father." Shueyuan took over and said, "I hope everyone can forgive me. We won't lower ourselves to his level." Some elders snorted. Shueyuan Hao smiled and said, "That's good. Then hurry up and prepare for the wedding. 1 month from today, we will come to marry Fairy Yenran." After saying that, Shueyuan Ba laughed loudly and turned to leave. Damn it, this guy was also so arrogant. The Water Source clan had gone too far. The people of Santong Mansion were furious. They even wanted to attack, but Goose Santong stopped them. The Water Abyss tribe was becoming more and more terrifying. Furthermore, I sensed a power from the water tyrant that doesn't belong to his clan. It was a very, very frightening power that made my hair stand on end. So, I think they came prepared this time.
What?
Mysterious power? The other elders were shocked. Master, is this true? Santong Wang was the man in front of him, Goose Santong, who had single-handedly created the power of his family. It stood tall in this world, and it was even very famous in this starfield. If even the patriarch said so, it was easy to imagine how terrifying Shueyuan Ba was. An elder said, "This Shueyuan Ba is only the second strongest warrior of the Shueyuan clan. Above him is an elder brother. He was Shui Yuanhao's father, Shui Yuan Xiong. It's said that he's even more terrifying and unfathomable. If we were to really fight him, our chances of victory wouldn't be high. There is still 1 more month. I will enter closed-door cultivation and strive to break through to Quasi-Emperor." Goose Santong stood up, looked at the elders and said, "I'll leave this month to you. Don't worry, Mansion Master. We will definitely protect the safety of Santong Mansion. Father, be careful. Don't be too impatient." Gu Yanran also reminded him. After all, a breakthrough in cultivation was not something that could be achieved overnight. Goose Santong smiled and patted her shoulder. "Don't worry, Yanran. I won't force you to do anything. Since you don't want to marry him, then we won't. As for the breakthrough, I've recently felt the signs of it. So, I think I have about a 70% chance." "Really? Father, that's great." Gu Yanran was very happy. Next, Goose Santong went to cultivate. He entered closed-door cultivation. Every morning and evening, Gu Yanran would come to the cultivation tower and wait. "Yanran, come back. When your father breaks through, there will be a vision of heaven and earth." A beautiful middle-aged woman came from afar. It was Gu Yanran's mother.
Lu Ruoli.
"Mother, I want to stay here and accompany father for a while." Gu Yanran said. "Then I'll stay with you." Lu Ruoli stood there. The two of them stood there quietly from the morning until the sun set. "Go back." The two of them left. At night, the moon rose. The Santong mansion was brightly lit. The Santong mansion looked peaceful, but it was very nervous. Who knew if the other party would sneak up on them?
The full moon was in the sky.
Suddenly, a dark cloud flew by and covered the moon. At this moment, there was a muffled sound of thunder in the sky. It cut through the void. The Santong mansion was immediately alarmed. Countless elders looked up at the sky. That was thunder. Was it a thunder tribulation? Was the mansion master going to pass the tribulation? This was a sign of a breakthrough. That was great. They were very excited. Gu Yanran also rushed out of her room. "It's a thunder tribulation. Father is going to break through." On the other side, Lu Ruoli also came out. She said loudly, "Activate the array and protect the mansion." Yes. The dark clouds in the sky became more and more terrifying. Thunder kept flashing, as if a thunder dragon was descending. The entire purple spirit realm felt it. A thunder tribulation.
How terrifying.
Once the Supreme Saint tribulation broke through, he would be above the Supreme Saint realm and enter the Quasi-Emperor realm. Countless people were envious. After all, in the second starfield, a Quasi-Emperor was already invincible. If he could become a Quasi-Emperor, he would immediately become the supreme leader of the second starfield. Thunder tribulation? On the other side, in the endless sea, there was also a mansion. It belonged to the Shueyuan clan. Shui Yuanhao frowned. "Oh no, is that old guy Goose Santong going to break through?" If he became a Quasi-Emperor, the situation would be troublesome. No matter. Shui Yuanba walked out and said, "Big brother is already there. He won't let him break through." "Father is already there? That's great." Shui Yuanhao was happy. His father was a real Quasi-Emperor. In the Santong mansion, thunder finally fell and covered the entire cultivation tower. That place turned into a sea of thunder. Everyone retreated to the distance and watched nervously. Inside the cultivation tower, Gu Santong roared. Beside him, there were countless spatial cracks. He was also a disciple of the Gu clan and cultivated the space law. At this moment, he used his space power to move all the thunder away. Around him, it was extremely quiet. It seemed that not a single thunder could get close to him. Very good. If this continues, I should be able to break through and become a quasi-emperor. Gu Santong's eyes lit up. However, he did not know that a figure appeared outside the Santong mansion. It was a tall man called Xueyuan Xiong. At this moment, Xueyuan Xiong sneered and took out a pair of blood-colored boxes. After opening it, an extremely strange blood-fiendish aura emerged from within. Inside, there was a blood-colored centipede. Gu Santong, you want to break through and become a quasi-emperor? You will never be able to. He bit his finger and dripped his blood onto the blood-colored centipede. The blood-colored centipede quickly devoured it. Xueyuan Xiong frowned, but he did not move. In the end, his entire arm caved in as if it had turned into white bones. The blood-colored centipede seemed to have eaten its fill. Go and stop that guy, Xueyuan Xiong said coldly. The blood-colored centipede turned into a bolt of lightning and rushed toward the cultivation tower. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.